Good morning, folks. Good morning this Tuesday morning. I'm your host, BKP, and you're watching BKP Politics on voiceofruralamerica.com. Welcome, Diane. Good morning, Diane. How are you? Not a bad morning. A little stormy here in North Georgia. The thunder rolling. A little thunder was rolling earlier this morning. Wow. Tuesday. Just Tuesday. So let me start out with this. Give me number 80. Hi, Diane. I grew up with a lot of Catholic friends. Went to grade school with a lot of Catholic friends, neighbors, very good Catholic friends. So let me just say to all of my Catholic friends out there, I know your church, and there's some issues in the church you're probably struggling through, and you have concerns on who will be the next pope. And the pope of your church just passed, number 5, the New York Post. So the Pope Francis, the New York Post, the Pope will. The funeral will be Saturday, and they are meeting right now. They start the meeting. It's called the conclave. They start the meeting. We wait for the white smoke. A cardinal has to be under 80 years old to vote, but that's taking place now. So just a kind word to all my Catholic friends. I wish you well. Now take that down. So I kind of made a list, Diane, because I've got to stay focused today. We have a guest at 10:30 in the Georgia hour. Our mystery guest. No, really. So give me number 6. I'll go down there. I put some numbers together, kind of a highlight of what we're going to be discussing today. This is number 6, but I put this tweet yesterday. Is that wait a minute. Right. Wait a minute. Well, maybe I'm correct. Let's see. Hang tight. Yeah, that's right. There's number 6. Now, yesterday I showed you a Laura Loomer quote. And I told you pay attention, right? I put a quote up from Laura Loomer and her page concerning Pete Hegseth. And we discussed it, all right? And we have an NPR story. It's totally fake news based on one anonymous source who clearly has no idea what they are talking about. As the president said this morning, he stands strongly behind Pete Hegseth. So we're going to go in, give me number 60. We're going to go into great detail on that story. Momentarily, we're gonna put some more to it on this right here. As Donald Trump said yesterday, the world will not be destroyed by those who do evil, but rather by those who watch them without doing anything to stop them. That was big. I put that up there. I'd like to get that in a graphic one day. Just whatever you think of, Diane, whatever you like the most. But I like that. The world will not be destroyed by those who do evil, but rather by those who watch them without doing anything to stop them. On a daily basis, somebody says to me, are you not up against something like so powerful? I'm not going to quit. I understand. I'm not going to quit. Now, going to Pete Hegseth, I just want to show you something here. 111, and I know I'm jumping around. 111. All right. Now, when this guy tweets this out, and I want to say something here, all right? When this guy, it's not that I trust him, it's not that I follow him, I don't listen to his program. I have labeled him the blowfish of Georgia, right? But when Eric Erickson, and I know, Diane, you have to go in another box for that, but 111 when you can get to it. But when Eric Erickson tweets something out.
Did you send 111?
No, are we going to start like that? Is that how the day is going to start? Okay, let's see if I sent it. No, I sent 110. Could you please start texting me and quit calling me out in front of God and country? Diane's like, I'm looking for it. All right, I sent it now. Just, I wrote down some numbers. I got in my, I put this, I said, let's try to have some order, right? Let's sound like we have a plan this morning. I can't get to the third graphic. I can't do it. So anyhow, go back to number 6 for me while we're getting that one. And the reason we're going to go in depth on this, Pete Hegseth, because I just want to say there's some very big things getting ready to happen. There's some very dark forces that want war. There's some very dark forces that want us to continue to manufacture all the destructive weapons we can to kill people. There's some big things getting ready to happen. And we got to pay attention to it. So we're going to have a nice full, when I say full segment, we're going to go over a lot of things where this is concerned at the Pentagon. Do we have 111 now? So now the reason, thank you, Diane, I appreciate it. And you just can keep calling me out in front of God and country if that's what it takes. Now, here's what I know. Now, not that I'm going to give anyone in America, if you don't know Eric Erickson, he is the blowfish of Georgia. He is the inside track to Brian Kemp. I mean, I would venture to say there's multiple phone calls between Brian Kemp or Brian Kemp's team to this guy multiple, maybe even in there. What are you trying to do to me?
I'm trying to load the video. Sorry.
You're just enjoying yourself. Could you get 111 back up there? Oh, you see?
That's what happens when I get stuff late.
Oh. Okay. All right. Okay. We're going to spar a little later. Anyhow, so. All right. So thank you, Diane. Please. Now I must apologize in front of the entire internet world for getting things late to you and forgetting to send them to you. And so now that everybody, can we get past that? So anyhow, one more time. But let me say this, okay? Brian Kemp's team. Now, Brian Kemp in Georgia, the governor of Georgia, he is the chair of he is on the President's Governors Association. Yes. He's the chair of the National Republican Governors Association. They are courting him. Brian Thune had lunch with him last week here in Georgia. They're recruiting him heavily to run for Senate. Right now, it's a coin toss. It's a 50-50. Nobody has that 51-49, but it's a coin toss, right? Of who is, it's a coin toss of who is, if he's going to run for Senate against Jon Ossoff. Now, we're not going to hear anything right now because I understand one of Brian Kemp's daughters is getting married, and Marty has told Brian, you're not doing anything and upstaging our daughter's wedding or whatever. So were on hold. But the point I'm making here, here's what I know. People in the White House are looking at possible Secretary of Defense replacements. Trump is not inclined to replace the Secretary of Defense. People in the White House believe more is coming on Hegseth that will turn Trump towards wanting a replacement. All right? Now, that came out yesterday at 1:52 p.m. 1:52 p.m. I keep an eye on everything. I pay attention. Now, what that tells me is he got intel out of Brian Kemp's office. I'm just saying. I don't know that. Here's what I know. Anytime this guy says, here's what I know. Now, Kemp's team will help him, will use him to help float things out. They will. So I'm just saying, the blowfish of Georgia, here's what I know. I think he's being a mouthpiece for Brian Kemp, the governor of Georgia right now. Just saying. People in the White House are looking at possible Secretary of Defense replacements. Trump is not inclined to replace him. Now, because you're out there and you're hearing Trump say, I support him, people in the White House believe more is coming that will turn Trump wanting a replacement. So they're working very hard on the replacement. All angles. Governors, senators, yes, don't they? Oh, no, not Democrats. Mitch McConnell. Democrats are sitting back on this one. So take that down. Give me 64. Moving right along. Thank you, Diane. And we're going to, let's talk about a couple of these. I want 64. Josh, GOP, Georgia GOP Inc. We're going to talk at 10 o'clock in the Georgia hour. I mean, you cannot imagine the level of corruption and what's being exposed on a daily basis. They're volunteer positions. Let me just say, have you ever heard the chairman of the Georgia GOP Inc., every time he speaks, he says volunteer chairman? You notice how many times he says volunteer chairman? I'll give you my opinion. So we're going to, 10 o'clock. God. Oh, the level of corruption in this state. 49. Rolling right along. Last night, I want to thank everybody because the Fannin County Republican Party here in Georgia, I want to give them a big shout out. That was last night. I'm putting that up. We have two candidates, Brian Parker. And look, let me say out there, thank you, Debbie Dooley. Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate every time you tweet out that I'm the disgraced first vice chair. Every time I anger you, just the thought of me drives you nuts. I think you're nuts. That's what I think. Anyhow, crazies, I don't know. Last night, Stephen Aaron, he is the establishment candidate. He is Josh McCoon's candidate. Josh McCoon is trying to take over the 11th district. He has the 14th. He's trying to take over the 11th, the 9th, and the 7th district, the top of Atlanta. Wow. And Brian Parker is the conservative, MAGA, America First, Donald Trump supporting. Stephen Aaron does not support Donald Trump. Stephen Aaron is whole party. Yes, he is party. 100%. That's your party man right there. 100%. And he will tell you he did everything to elect Donald Trump. I'm not going to say that's not true because he's a party man and that's what they do. Anyhow, you can go to Voice of Rural America Facebook page. We did that live last night. Voice of Rural America Facebook page. They're both running for chair. This Saturday at the convention, I will be voting for Brian Parker for chair of the 9th district. Give me video 9. No, I don't. I meant picture 9. I got to get my act together. Picture 9. Give me number 9. I don't have a video 9. I want picture 9. So give me this one here. Boy, there you go. Now, yesterday, the Georgia GOP released their new list of candidates. You can see under First Vice Chair Lisa Pierce's name now appears under there, and under Assistant Secretary Kylie Kremer's name appears on the list of candidates. So there's the list of candidates. So the next thing you do is keep the delegates from them. We'll explain that. So was that number 9 or 40? Give me 40. I'm marking these off because I'm trying to get to all the things we're going to talk about. Do you remember? This is important. Do you remember when Joe and Minka went November 19th? Do you remember when Joe and Minka went to Mar-a-Lago after the election? Do you remember that? Morning Joe meeting with Trump was driven by fears of retribution. Morning Joe host visited Mar-a-Lago. You know, let me say, there's the art of the deal. Now, you know I support Donald Trump. Oh, today we got our Reagan hat, the Reagan the movie. I got this hat from the Viking dude down there in Cherokee County. The Viking, is that his name, the Viking dude? He gave me this hat. So that's my Reagan hat today. So, the art of the deal. I support Donald Trump. But Trump, when I say never, he never sits down with anyone that some kind of deal is not being worked out. That's just who he is. Now, I have concerns why Joe and Minka went to Mar-a-Lago and what part or role they are playing. I'm just telling you, 65. So, the panic button. So they're all in panic over the stock market. They're in panic over Jerome Powell, interest rates, tariffs. But the Pentagon. Now, there's something wrong. This involves Tucker Carlson. Give me video 4.
Dan Caldwell is a Marine Corps veteran who wound up until 3 days ago advising the Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, on military policy. He was one of the strongest voices in the U.S. government in the Trump administration against the war with Iran. And his rationale was simple. It's not in America's interest, and many Americans will die, and billions will be spent on a war we don't need to fight. And as someone who fought in Iraq, he was able to take that case to the principals with some force. Then, 3 days ago, he was fired from the Pentagon, but not for his views on Iran, no. Dan Caldwell was fired because, reporters are told off the record, he had leaked classified documents to the media. But what were these classified documents exactly? Well, no one at the Pentagon could know the answer to that because Dan Caldwell's phone was never examined, nor was he given a polygraph. So actually, beneath the headlines was nothing. Did you leak classified information against the wishes of your superiors to media outlets?
Absolutely not.
Folks, please pay attention. Now, that interview is an hour and 34 minutes long. I have 50 minutes. I've gotten to 50 minutes, okay? I have not completed the hour and a half. But on this program here, I've been very clear for how long that Tucker Carlson is a very top advisor to President Trump. Dan Caldwell was let go claiming at the Pentagon classified 3 days ago, classified material leaks. Immediately, Tucker Carlson brings him on, does an interview, and puts it out there. War with Iran, Pentagon, Pete Hegseth, Sean Parnell. leaks to the media. Mitch McConnell. I tell you what, pay attention, because we're going to dig into it as soon as we return after these messages, because they want Pete out, and they want him out bad. All right, folks. We have the Georgia Hour at 10 a.m. every day at 10 a.m., the Georgia Hour. Then, let's see if I have anything else in here that I want to discuss. Billy Long. Remember Billy Long from Missouri, representative from Missouri, the auctioneer that Trump appointed to run the IRS? We're going to talk about that. Now, don't forget, number 45, yesterday, Klaus Schwab, right, resigned, stepped down. And 44, people are really going to lose it soon if between the FBI, if Pam Bondi does not do something soon with the criminals, if she doesn't announce some things soon. I know the base has had it with her. Really, they have. So we're going to take a break. When we get back, we're going to talk about the Pentagon. Let's see what else I have. Well, we'll leave it right there for now. We'll talk about the Pentagon when we return.
At Days Chevrolet in Jasper, we're proud because for more than 65 years, we've built a legacy of trust for the families we serve. That's why 80% of our business comes from repeat customers and referrals. When you treat folks as well as we do, word is bound to get around. Days Chevrolet in Jasper, family first since 1959. Days Chevrolet, Days gets it done. Together, let's drive.
Larry's Body Shop in Ellijay. Family owned and operated since 1978. The latest in cutting-edge digital technology and state-of-the-art equipment allow our iCard Gold Class certified technicians to restore your vehicle. Our second-to-none customer service will work directly with your insurance company. Major accident or minor fender bender, we take the dents out of accidents. Larry's Body Shop, North Georgia's #1 body shop. Visit us at collisiondecision.com.
Why give your money to liberal media companies? Put your marketing needs in the hands of a conservative marketing professional and start getting results today. FYN Media Group, one of the top digital marketing agencies in Georgia, specializes in website design and hosting, social media promotion and management, and so much more. Visit FYNmediagroup.com or call 706-889-3564 for a free consultation.
Welcome to El Rey Azteca Mexican Restaurant. We invite you to indulge your senses with our from-scratch authentic Mexican food. Whether you are hungry for fajitas or the El Rey Azteca burrito, we offer a wide variety of fine Mexican dishes, drinks, and desserts. Our inviting patio, indoor seating, and bar has a seat for everyone. So come to El Rey Azteca for delicious food, great drinks, good friends, and loads of fun in a casual and friendly atmosphere.
Ladies, when you wear elegant jewelry, you become a force to be reckoned with. You shine brighter than the stars in the sky, and your inner beauty radiates like the sun. So embrace the magic, embrace the elegance, and let your jewelry be a reflection of your true, authentic self. My friends over at North Georgia Diamond know what a woman wants. Go see them for the perfect gift. And remember, when it comes to elegance, there's no such thing as too much. Come see us at North Georgia Diamond. We're igniting passion one sparkle at a time.
In 1981, Reed Nicholson began selling tires out of an old barn in Mineral Bluff. Little did he know that he had just laid the groundwork for the most trusted names in automotive services in the Blue Ridge area. In 1997, Nicholson Tire Center became what it is today, holding the same values of faith, family, and great customer service. 2 locations to serve you, and the Blue Ridge location is currently expanding to offer fast service and the largest U-Haul provider in Georgia. Nicholson Tire Center, Blue Ridge, and Mineral Bluff.
This is a special report.
Knowing how to invest your money is harder than ever before. Dealing with stock market volatility, record debt, and terrorist attacks requires new thinking. At U.S. Asset Management, we can help you see the world more clearly so that you can move beyond the chaos and invest with confidence. Call us, visit us online, or drop by our office. U.S. Asset Management, helping you make better decisions with your money.
Mesquite Grill, now offering online ordering for your convenience. Check out our new website at mesquitegrillbr.com. That's mesquitegrillbr.com. The great food and service you have come to expect, ready for you when you arrive. Open 7 days a week with a fully stocked bar and friendly service. Bring your furry friends with you and dine on our pet-friendly patio. Also, check out our catering options and let us prepare delicious food for your next event.
All right, folks, we're back. I'm your host, BKP. You're watching BKP Politics on voiceofruralamerica.com. Thank you for bearing with me through that very chaotic opening. That wasn't my best moment. Diane, good morning. How are you? Good morning, America. How are you? Could you please get the graphic I just sent? With minimal complaint. Sorry. Let me make sure I have the volume off here. Now, as we all know, they want rid of Pete Hegseth. All right. So we know that from the very beginning. From the very beginning, they did everything they possibly could to stop his confirmation. They did not want him over at the DOD. Bottom line. So what I want to show you this morning are the parts. And then you're going to have to do your own research. You're going to have to keep up with this. So yesterday I told you, in fact, Diane, I'm going to move this one, I think, yesterday. I don't think I brought over the one I wanted from yesterday. Maybe I did. Well, I'll find it and just read it to you. Or do I have it here on this one here? So, Pete Hegseth, and give me number 3. We're going to go through number 3. Let's see, where's it at? I know I have it. So, Iran wants war. Turmoil engulfs Pentagon as fresh signal allegations hit Hegseth. All right. Now, Israel wants war with Iran. They do. Israel wants war with Iran. Benjamin Netanyahu was over here with President Trump, okay? there is sources that say that people like Tulsi Gabbard and others pulled Trump back. Now, Trump does not want war with Iran, all right? But if you go and you start reading the news articles concerning Benjamin Netanyahu putting pressure on Trump to strike Iran, all right? So we've got a lot to this puzzle you have to look at. So we know Israel wants to strike Iran, all right? Trump, we've had a negotiation 2 times. Our team has met with Iranian officials, right? We have a deal. I played a video for you the other day. We have a deal with them or in the works talking to them about no nuclear weapons. Even give me 112. Let's put all this out here, okay? Because Israel wants a war. What's really happening here? You remember I showed you this last week. Saudi defense minister arrives in Tehran ahead of Iran-U.S. talks. Saudi sent someone out in front of our team to Tehran. They sent an advance team from Saudi. We are friends with the Saudis. All right? Saudi defense minister visits Tehran. There's Al Jazeera, CNN. The list goes on. Even MSN. Saudi defense minister arrives in Tehran ahead of Iran-U.S. talks. So Bibi Netanyahu comes over here. You can go read the articles, go pull it up and Google it, where he is trying to encourage Trump to strike Iran. Tulsi Gabbard and others, encourage Trump. No, we don't want to strike. We don't want to do that. Our team's trying to work out a deal. No weapons, Iran. The Iranian people, the people of Iran, they're not our enemies. Trust me, they're not. Okay? But this is all taking place. They want this war. They want this war. So we know this is going on. What do we have? We have another Pete Hegseth, right? So let's go through the attacks so you can see all of them. Give me number, I want to hold this one right now. I don't want this one right now. We've got right there, we had number 3. I want to go from 3 to 4. So this is Axios, right? Turmoil engulfs Pentagon as fresh signal allegations hit. Then we go to Axios again. Now here's Bacon. Remember, he's from Nebraska, congressman from Nebraska. Number 4, first House Republican calls for Pete Hegseth's ouster. Right? Starting to call to get rid of him. This is Bacon. Don Bacon from Nebraska Monday became the first Republican member of Congress to openly indicate support for Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth's removal. Let's go to, I want to hold that one right now. I'm going to hold that one. Give me number 8, semaphore. Hegseth looks safe at Pentagon for now, as damaging reports and firings pile up. The president is sticking by his defense secretary. There's still some doubt he could hang on. Now, I showed you the X from Eric Erickson. Again, the blowfish of Georgia. We'll show you that in a minute. But I'm just saying, when the blowfish of Georgia, Eric Erickson, comes out and he makes a comment like that, and he says, from people I know, generally, I'm going to guess it's coming out of Brian Kemp's office, all right? So, and you got to understand this may be like one of the clues that's the furthest out there. Klaus Schwab quit yesterday. He quit yesterday. Now, as we continue on here, give me number 24. Unconscionable. 3 former Pentagon officials say they don't know why they were fired. All right? 3 top Pentagon, and this is 4/19. Today's the 22nd. 3 top Pentagon advisors were fired this week after a leak investigation said Saturday they had no idea why they were ousted. Former senior advisor Dan Caldwell, which we played that, former Deputy Chief of Staff Darren Slicknick, and Colin Carroll, the Deputy Defense Secretary's former Chief of Staff. They don't know why they were let go. Now, you got to dig into this, because you could talk about the stock market all day long. You can mourn over the loss of the Pope. You could talk about tariffs. You could talk about tax policy. There's something very serious going on in this Pentagon right now with the Department of Defense, Bibi Netanyahu, Israel, Iran. Something going on. Now, give me number 25. This is 2 days ago. Caldwell and 2 others sacked at Department of Defense. Fight back in fury joint statement. Right? Now, these guys that got sacked, number 25, they got sacked. Trump's top advisor, Tucker Carlson, he puts Dan on the show, hour and a half. Just saying. Because this guy's anti-war. Number 26, Tucker Carlson. Dan Caldwell was one of the strongest voices at the Pentagon opposing war with Iran. Then he was falsely accused of leaking classified documents and fired. Told you a couple days ago. Give me, we have an IRS story for you later today. We're not going down the road of the normal road they travel. Let me get this one. I want this one right here. Hold on a minute. All right, so I know if you're listening at home, I hope you're able to watch this, because we have a lot of graphics we're working on today. And because we're showing a lot of what I call clues. Now, we showed you this, number 46, Laura Loomer. This was yesterday. Notice there's a massive effort to fire Pete Hegseth, but there isn't an effort to demand accountability at the NSC, DNI, and DOJ. The deep state just wants to purge MAGA loyalists from the administration instead of firing Biden holdovers. We showed you that one yesterday. Now, they're all in cahoots. The deep state, corporate, corrupt media, they are in cahoots. Give me this one here. Should be starting into my morning graphics. Sorry about that. We will be trying to go through one at a time instead of just going and looking for them. Give me number 83, CNN this morning. Second Signal chat scandal. Right? Give me MSNBC, number 89. Is the White House looking to replace Pete Hegseth? I just hope we're not. I just hope the deep state doesn't start a war behind Trump's back. Give me video 1.
Meanwhile, the president is once again publicly supporting his defense secretary, Pete Hegseth, following another Signal chat scandal. Yes, a separate one. The question is, when the White House says they have Hegseth's back, do they, or are they quietly looking for a replacement? Also ahead, we'll go.
Put 111 up, if you could. Remember, are they quietly looking? Now, why does MSNBC, CNN, why does MSNBC and Eric Erickson? Here's what I know. People in the White House are looking at possible Secretary of Defense replacements. People in the White House. Okay, Trump is not inclined to replace the Secretary of Defense. People in the White House believe more is coming on Hegseth that will turn Trump towards wanting a replacement. Right? Can you go back to the last graphic? Or if you don't have that number, that's okay. Now, I'm going to tell you, there's a lot of the deep state, corporate corrupt media. There's a lot of people, governor's offices, Congress, Senate. Is the White House looking for a replacement? Now, give me number 92. Trump defends Hegseth in second military chat controversy. You know, he was put there to get rid of a lot of bad people, and that's what he's doing. Wonder what the conversations have been like with, give me number 93, with Donald Trump and Tucker Carlson. Pete's doing a great job. Everybody's happy with him. We have the highest recruitment. CNN 94, Hegseth shares U.S. military plans in second Signal chat. 95, Pete Hegseth, isolated and defiant, has Trump's backing for now. The Washington Post, the New York Times, Hegseth said to have shared attack details in second Signal chat. The Atlantic is 90, there you go. Now go to 97. The Atlantic, why Trump is standing by Hegseth for now. Well, they keep rolling out that for now. Okay. Now here is John Yullett, former chief Pentagon spokesman, number 98. Ex-aide calls out Hegseth. This was in the Politico article. Remember the Politico article? Who deserves better from his senior leadership? It's hard to see Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth remaining in his role for much longer. Now, Pete Hegseth comes out and says this is what happens when you have anonymous sources, and disgruntled, employees that got fired. Okay, I see that. But let me tell you something. I support Pete Hegseth, but everything is rolling against him right now. Every single power, evil power out there is rolling against him. Number 99, Trump defends Hegseth in second military chat controversy. Now, number 100, the Hegseth Pentagon Chronicles. I gotta go. Give me, is it 40? Try 40. And then go back to that one. Try 40. Is it 40? Or is it, which one is it? Try 40. See if that's the number I'm looking for. You see, folks, I just want to say that when Matt Gaetz was nominated by President Trump for DOJ, and they went after him to take down Matt Gaetz, They went to Mar-a-Lago. Joe and Minka went to Mar-a-Lago. I think they should have went 90 miles south to Gitmo. I'm serious. I think these two people, they should be sentenced to Gitmo, and not only sentenced to Gitmo, they should have to share a cell because you know they don't like each other. But they went to Mar-a-Lago, and I'm just going to put this out. I want you to tell me what your opinion is. Did they make some kind of deal with Trump? Is something going on here? Because I will tell you, I watch every morning because Trump is letting them survive. He's letting them, when I call that and letting him, someone might be out there and say, well, Trump's not letting him survive. Give me video too.
Remember, the U.S. military launched strikes from those ships, not only aircraft. So the fact that the secretary himself is the one who created this signal chat is why this is causing so much buzz around the Pentagon. And it's for the reason that the Secretary of Defense is supposed to be the model for the young men and women in the military who are supposed to, follow his behavior. I was out on an aircraft carrier a little over a year ago when they were doing strikes against the Houthis. And just to give you a sense of how sensitive they are about the information about these strikes, about 3 or 4 days before.
Okay, so this is coming off Morning Joe. All right, and go ahead and give me 100. That was a clip off of Morning Joe. Now, the key in that is the first signal. Remember, the first signal chat Waltz created. DNA, right? Is that DNA? National whatever. Waltz. Mike Waltz. Remember that? Mike Waltz created that signal chat that let Jeffrey Goldberg, or whatever his name is, let him in. And at that time, they said, you know what? Hegseth is in there putting notes in there that we consider military plans, but he didn't create the signal chat. The big thing in this one, watch and see the development, is this is a signal chat that he created. Now, I'm not going after Pete Hegseth. I want you to understand that. But there's a key there. He created. This one is one that he put together. That is a key in our, give me number 101. Now, the Wall Street Journal, the editorial board right there on Morning Joe, Mr. Hegseth calling card is enforcing high standards and accountability at every military level. Okay. He relieved several general officers to make his point, sometimes firing indiscriminately without checking his scope. Is the secretary accountable himself? Number 102. As GOP Senator Mitch McConnell warned in voting against Mr. Hegseth's confirmation, the desire to be a change agent isn't a sufficient credential to run the giant Pentagon bureaucracy. 103. No doubt the Beltway press would love to knock Pete Hegseth out of defense secretary, but that doesn't come close to explaining the mess at the Pentagon. The staff infighting, dismissals, the leaks over Signal app chats look to be self-inflicted mistakes of the management. Let's see, give me number 104. That is the Wall Street Journal editorial board. Wall Street Journal editorial board. Give me number 39. I don't know why I have 39 circled. Give me 39. Rupert Murdoch owns the Wall Street Journal. He acquired the newspaper's parent company, Dow Jones and Company, in 2007. The acquisition added the Wall Street Journal to Murdoch's existing media empire, which includes Fox News and other publications. Rupert Murdoch. Let's see. Paul Ryan. Karl Rove. Wall Street Journal. Rupert Murdoch, give me number 105. White House defends Hegseth. Joe, Minka, Deep State, Wall Street Journal, Rupert Murdoch, Fox News. Well, let me tell you this, okay? Friends don't let friends watch Fox News. And the day you think Fox News is on your side, give me number 6. So at the current time, the White House, when I say the current time, the White House is defending Pete Hegseth. All right? The NPR story is totally fake news. Based on anonymous sources, the White House supports Pete Hegseth. So one more time, we have the attack on Pete Hegseth. We have the media trying to remove Pete Hegseth. We have the Saudi defense minister over in Tehran. We have our team trying to work out a deal with Tehran. Give me number 1. We have Benjamin Netanyahu wanting us to bomb Tehran. We have probably the biggest, well, I'll let him tell you in a minute. Pete Hegseth's top advisor tells Tucker Carlson the real reason he was escorted out of the Pentagon and fired amid leaking claims. And right here, what did I have here? Give me this one. I had it just a moment ago. I know we're going to be able to get it back. Boy, the powers, the evil power that is coming after Pete Hegseth in every angle. Give me number 26. Tucker Carlson, Dan Crenshaw, Caudwell, apologize for that. Dan Caudwell. All right, let me slow down. Dan Caudwell, W-E-L-L. Dan Caudwell was one of the strongest voices at the Pentagon opposing war with Iran. Then he was falsely accused of leaking classified documents and was fired. Wonder if Israel had anything to do with this. Please play one more time video 4.
Dan Caldwell is a Marine Corps veteran who wound up until 3 days ago advising the Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, on military policy. He was one of the strongest voices in the U.S. government in the Trump administration against the war with Iran. And his rationale was simple. It's not in America's interest, and many Americans will die, and billions will be spent on a war we don't need to fight. And as someone who fought in Iraq, he was able to take that case to the principals with some force. Then, 3 days ago, he was fired from the Pentagon, but not for his views on Iran, no. Dan Caldwell was fired because, reporters are told off the record, he had leaked classified documents to the media. But what were these classified documents exactly? Well, no one at the Pentagon could know the answer to that because Dan Caldwell's phone was never examined, nor was he given a polygraph. So actually, beneath the headlines was nothing. Did you leak classified information against the wishes of your superiors to media outlets?
Absolutely not.
Americans will die. Remember last week when we played several clips from the former, what was his name? The former congressman from Pennsylvania. What was his name? But remember the 9/11 story?
Kurt Weldon.
Kurt Weldon. Diane, you remember when he said that was used to send our kids and get them killed in Afghanistan? You remember he said bin Laden was where? In Tehran, right? While we had kids being killed in Afghanistan, right? They don't care how many of our kids get killed. They don't care. That does not bother them. These are bad people. So this guy is one of the biggest voices we had in the Pentagon saying no to war with Iran. He's marched to the door. I will tell you this, Tucker Carlson found him immediately. Watch for so many developments. I'm telling you right now, watch. I don't know if this segment is opening your eyes. Forget tariffs for a minute, okay? You got kids out there? Forget tariffs for a minute. Let me tell you something. At my age, all right, I watched Jimmy Carter take us to 17% interest rates. I watched Jimmy Carter come and tell us as a kid that we had to put a sweater on, turn the temperature down. We didn't have enough energy for the house to stay warm. You know, I watched the housing collapse. I watched the dot-com bubble burst. I watched recession after recession. I sit one morning and watch planes. I watched 9/11. Forget about tariffs for a moment. Forget about the stock market. And please, I know as angry as you may get, forget about your 401k for just a minute. And worry more about our children, our grandchildren, and our country and the possibility of war, that something is happening here. There's a lot of smoke out there. Where there's this much smoke, there's fire. I've got 50 minutes into this interview. I plan to finish it this afternoon. Take a break. We'll come right back.
Days Chevrolet in Jasper. We're saying those two words you want to hear. You're approved. It doesn't matter what credit problems you drove in with. The only thing that matters is you're driving out in a new Chevy. Bankruptcy, foreclosure, job loss, even repossession won't stop you this time. So come hear it for yourself. You're approved at Days Chevrolet in Jasper. Days Chevrolet. Days gets it done. Together, let's drive.
Larry's Body Shop in Ellijay. Family owned and operated since 1978. The latest in cutting-edge digital technology and state-of-the-art equipment allow our iCard Gold Class certified technicians to restore your vehicle. Our second-to-none customer service will work directly with your insurance company. Major accident or minor fender bender, we take the dents out of accidents. Larry's Body Shop, North Georgia's #1 body shop. Visit us at collisiondecision.com.
Why give your money to liberal media companies? Put your marketing needs in the hands of a conservative marketing professional and start getting results today. FYN Media Group, one of the top digital marketing agencies in Georgia, specializes in website design and hosting, social media promotion and management, and so much more. Visit FYNmediagroup.com or call 706-889-3564 for a free consultation.
Welcome to El Rey Azteca Mexican Restaurant. We invite you to indulge your senses with our from-scratch authentic Mexican food. Whether you are hungry for fajitas or the El Rey Azteca burrito, we offer a wide variety of fine Mexican dishes, drinks, and desserts. Our inviting patio, indoor seating, and bar has a seat for everyone. So come to El Rey Azteca for delicious food, great drinks, good friends, and loads of fun in a casual and friendly atmosphere.
Ladies, when you wear elegant jewelry, you become a force to be reckoned with. You shine brighter than the stars in the sky, and your inner beauty radiates like the sun. So embrace the magic, embrace the elegance, and let your jewelry be a reflection of your true, authentic self. My friends over at North Georgia Diamond know what a woman wants. Go see them for the perfect gift. And remember, when it comes to elegance, there's no such thing as too much. come see us at North Georgia Diamond. We're igniting passion one sparkle at a time.
In 1981, Reed Nicholson began selling tires out of an old barn in Mineral Bluff. Little did he know that he had just laid the groundwork for the most trusted names in automotive services in the Blue Ridge area. In 1997, Nicholson Tire Center became what it is today, holding the same values of faith, family, and great customer service. 2 locations to serve you, and the Blue Ridge location is currently expanding to offer fast service and the largest U-Haul provider in Georgia. Nicholson Tire Center, Blue Ridge, and Mineral Bluff.
This is a special report.
Knowing how to invest your money is harder than ever before. Dealing with stock market volatility, record debt, and terrorist attacks requires new thinking. At U.S. Asset Management, we can help you see the world more clearly so that you can move beyond the chaos and invest with confidence. Call us, visit us online, or drop by our office. U.S. Asset Management, helping you make better decisions with your money.
Mesquite Grill, now offering online ordering for your convenience. Check out our new website at mesquitegrillbr.com. That's mesquitegrillbr.com. The great food and service you have come to expect, ready for you when you arrive. Open 7 days a week with a fully stocked bar and friendly service. Bring your furry friends with you and dine on our pet-friendly patio. Also, check out our catering options and let us prepare delicious food for your next event.
All right, folks, we're back. I'm your host, BKP. You're watching BKP Politics on Voice. Excuse me. Had to have a shot of coffee. You're watching BKP Politics on Voice of RuralAmerica.com. So, as in our last story, as you put those pieces together, could you please let me know? I'm serious. Please let me know as you put those pieces together. I don't have them all together. I really don't. I know they want rid of Pete Hegseth. They want rid of Sean Parnell. At 10 o'clock, 55 minutes, we have a guest this morning at 10:30 to discuss Georgia politics, the Georgia GOP Inc. All right, that's at 10:30. And at 10 o'clock is the Georgia Hour. I wish one day I would introduce the Georgia Hour, as at 10 o'clock we have great news on how conservative, trustworthy our Georgia politicians but until further notice, we'll continue to do the Georgia Hour and spend an hour talking about the corruption from the corruption of Georgia. All right, anyhow, so moving right along. All right, so Diane, I'm going to send you a video. We're going to, I might play it in a minute. Let's see if it comes through. There's a video. Load that up. Call it number 8. And I'm not for sure if we're going to play it. So I want to ask you this question. I'm your host, BKP. Yes, to all of our Catholic friends out there, we wish you well as you mourn the loss of the Pope and as you prepare to pick a new leader of the Catholic Church. Number 2, a lot of people did not wait. They didn't wait. So I'll just say this Pope Francis, does not get a lot of high marks. All right. Megyn Kelly launches blistering attack on the Pope just hours after his death. So this Pope does not get a lot of high marks, but you know what? For my Catholic friends out there, I wish you well and through your time of mourning, and that you may be satisfied with the next choice for Pope. All right, so let's go to a very unusual story. Another one I'd like for you to keep your eye on, because the IRS, okay? Now, they don't want, when I say they, the deep state corporate corrupt media, they do not want to lose control of the Department of Defense. They don't want to lose control of the IRS. They don't want to lose control of the money. I tell you, this is rough. So give me number 28. Now, you remember this guy here, the 2 guys that testified from the IRS, Gary Shapley and I forget his friend's name, the 2 guys that testified. They worked at the IRS. So number 28, Hunter Biden's whistleblower Gary Shapley out at the IRS as IRS director after 2 days. Okay, what's going on at the IRS? So do me a favor, keep your eyes there. And let's go through a couple articles. And we'll come back to 28. Remember 28. Give me number 29. Just 2 days. So, number 29. This was on March 18th. March 18th. Treasury promotes IRS agents who say Hunter Biden's tax case was stymied, right? Is that right? Okay. The Treasury Department is elevating 2 IRS revenue agents, service agents, who claim that the investigation of Hunter Biden's taxes was soft-pedaled, an unusual promotion that will empower officials embroiled in high-profile political battle with Democrats. So, unusual promotion. Okay. So give me number 30. It was unclear exactly what positions Mr. Shapley and Mr. Ziegler will play within the Treasury. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said in a statement announcing them as senior advisors that the 2 men will drive much-needed cultural reform within the IRS. So the veteran civil servants join us to help further the agency's focus on collections, modernization, and customer service. so we can deliver a more effective, efficient IRS experience for hardworking American taxpayers, Scott Bessent said. Okay. The Trump administration has been undertaking an aggressive overhaul of the IRS. All right. These are all New York Times. Number 31. So this is on April 15th, tax day. This is a New York Times article, right? Trump picks a Hunter Biden whistleblower to temporarily lead the IRS. President Trump has picked Gary Shapley, an Internal Revenue Service agent who has said investigation into Hunter Biden's taxes was not aggressive enough. He is the temporary. Now, he's the temporary lead of the IRS, April 15th. We don't know how temporary. So this is 32. Gary has proven his honesty and devotion to enforcing the law without fear or favor, even at great cost to his own career, a Treasury spokesperson said. Okay? He'll be a great asset to the IRS as we rethink and reform this crucial organization. It is unclear how long Mr. Shapley, who started at the IRS in 2009 in its criminal investigation unit, will lead the service. Now stay here. Ready? You ready? Will lead the service, IRS. President Trump has nominated Billy Long, a former Republican congressman who pushed a tax credit that was a magnet for fraud, to lead the agency, but the Senate has yet to confirm him. So all this is going on with the IRS. We have Billy Long has been picked. He's the former congressman of Missouri for the head of the IRS. He's yet to be confirmed. Oh, you think it's just tariffs on a daily basis with Trump? They have to put up with so much garbage. Obstruction of America. It's not obstruction of justice. Every single thing is obstruction of America. Forget the American people. So here's number 33. Now that was April 15th. This one, head of the IRS is ousted in Treasury's power struggle with Elon Musk. So 15th, 16th, 17th, and 18th, 3 days go by. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent complained to President Trump that the acting commissioner had been installed without his knowledge. Number 34, President Trump has replaced the acting commissioner of the Internal Revenue Service after his appointment just days after it set off a power struggle between Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent and the billionaire Elon Musk. Five people with knowledge of the change said Friday. Mr. Bessent's deputy, Michael Falkenender, is that his name, will be the new acting leader, all right, replacing Gary Shapley. The Treasury Department confirmed on Friday. He will be the third acting as the agency this week. Mr. Bessent had complained to Mr. Trump this week that Mr. Musk had done an end around him to get Shapley installed as the interim head of the IRS, even though the tax collection agency reports to Mr. Bessent. The people familiar with the situation said they spoke on the condition of anonymity, anonymous, to discuss private conversations. So the clash was the latest incident Mr. Musk influence in the Trump administration. So this is all taking place over there. Well, where the hell's Billy Long? Well, let's just get this thing over with, right? That's what I'm saying. Let's get Billy Long in there. Well, Number 35. Billy Long's bid to lead IRS under scrutiny over donations that paid off personal debt. Billy Long, there's a second one. Springfield, this is Missouri Daily Citizen. Billy Long's bid to lead the IRS under scrutiny over donations that paid off personal debt. And then you have Rachel up there. Trump picked to head IRS, raised red flags with sketchy ties. Disappearing debt. Trump IRS pick was just enriched by tax scammers. So Billy Long is having a little trouble getting approved for the IRS. Number 36, Billy Long's bid. Now keep this in mind. It's interesting the criminals in Washington, D.C. pick and choose. They're all a bunch of criminals. Billy Long's bid to lead the IRS under scrutiny over donations that paid off personal debt. 37, former Missouri Congressman Billy Long received $137,000 in campaign contributions, just enough to pay off personal loans in his campaign soon after he was tapped to lead Internal Revenue Service. Some of the donations are connected to companies that will be policed by the agency. Everybody's policed by the agency. Everybody deals with the IRS. According to recent filed financial disclosures, which were first reported on by the investigative journalism site The Lever, Long only raised roughly $36,000 in the last 2 years. He was named as President Donald Trump's pick to lead the IRS in December, and in January received $137,000 in donations, and then paid back the remaining. Now, this is true, but listen to the catch. Then he paid back the remaining $130,000 in debt from a $250,000 loan he made to his unsuccessful 2020 U.S. Senate campaign. Now, you can loan yourself money to run for office. See, there's nothing here illegal. Nothing illegal. This is done on a daily basis, Democrat, Republican, Independent. This is done on a daily basis from left coast to right coast, north border to south border. It's done every single day. You actually, by law, can loan your campaign money and pay it back with interest. Yes, it can be profitable. It can be profitable to loan your campaign money, if you do it the right way, and get donors to give you money, pay back that loan to yourself with interest. That's not against the law. Not against the law. This is something that happens every single day that people... Now, if you have a campaign finance account open, give me an example, Josh McCoon. Josh McCoon, the volunteer chairman of the Georgia GOP, Inc. He still has an account called Friends of Josh. And Josh could get donations and he could loan them to himself for something. You can do that. It's not against the law. But you keep an account open, and the minute you get appointed to something, they dump money in it. Oh, it's all the time. Like, you deplete, run for Congress, spend $2 million. Your account is zero. The day you get elected and you're giving your speech and thanking the voters, your account says zero. You spent it all, right? The next day, money starts running into your account, your campaign account. It just starts dumping in there. Why? You're not running for office right now. So, 38. In 2022, the U.S. Supreme Court struck down a limit on the amount of post-election funds a candidate can use to pay back personal loans. There's no limit. There's no limit. Post-election, right? The majority found the limit an unconstitutional restriction on the freedom of speech. Even if our broken campaign finance system allows this behavior, Leibowitz said, it raises serious questions about future conflicts of interest and needs to be addressed in a hearing Billy Long has before Congress. He didn't do anything illegal. Now, I'm not going to tell you I like it. It happens every day in America, 7 days a week, sea to shining sea, north to south, Congress, Senate, regardless. They do it every day. And after they get elected, go look at after someone gets elected, how much money gets dumped in that account after. So Billy Long, still not approved. Gary Shapley, 3 days, but gets him out of there. I don't trust the New York Times and their account of what happened. I said, pay attention to the IRS and what's going on there. Just saying. The deep state is moving, and they are working to stop you and I and MAGA. Oh, yes, they are. Even Pam Bondi won't arrest someone. All right, take a break. We'll be back right after these brief messages.
Great news, Chevy buyers. Truck Month has been extended at Days Chevrolet in Jasper with up to $9,000 off new 2025 Silverado 2500 Crew Cab 4-wheel drives. From light duty to heavy duty, you're going to save a payload during Truck Month up to $9,000. Come get them before they're gone at Days Chevrolet in Jasper. Days Chevrolet. Days gets it done. Together, let's drive.
Larry's Body Shop in Ellijay. Family owned and operated since 1978. The latest in cutting-edge digital technology and state-of-the-art equipment allow our iCard Gold Class certified technicians to restore your vehicle. Our second-to-none customer service will work directly with your insurance company. Major accident or minor fender bender. We take the dents out of accidents. Larry's Body Shop, North Georgia's #1 body shop. Visit us at collisiondecision.com.
Why give your money to liberal media companies? Put your marketing needs in the hands of a conservative marketing professional and start getting results today. FYN Media Group, one of the top digital marketing agencies in Georgia, specializes in website design and hosting, social media promotion and management, and so much more. Visit FYNmediagroup.com or call 706-889-3564 for a free consultation.
Welcome to El Rey Azteca Mexican Restaurant. We invite you to indulge your senses with our from-scratch authentic Mexican food. Whether you are hungry for fajitas or the El Rey Azteca burrito, we offer a wide variety of fine Mexican dishes, drinks, and desserts. Our inviting patio, indoor seating, and bar has a seat for everyone. So come to El Rey Azteca for delicious food, great drinks, good friends, and loads of fun in a casual and friendly atmosphere.
Ladies, when you wear elegant jewelry, you become a force to be reckoned with. You shine brighter than the stars in the sky, and your inner beauty radiates like the sun. So embrace the magic, embrace the elegance, and let your jewelry be a reflection of your true, authentic self. My friends over at North Georgia Diamond know what a woman wants. Go see them for the perfect gift. And remember, when it comes to elegance, there's no such thing as too much. Come see us at North Georgia Diamond. We're igniting passion one sparkle at a time.
In 1981, Reed Nicholson began selling tires out of an old barn in Mineral Bluff. Little did he know that he had just laid the groundwork for the most trusted names in automotive services in the Blue Ridge area. In 1997, Nicholson Tire Center became what it is today, holding the same values of faith, family, and great customer service. 2 locations to serve you, and the Blue Ridge location is currently expanding to offer fast service and the largest U-Haul provider in Georgia. Nicholson Tire Center, Blue Ridge, and Mineral Bluff.
This is a special report.
Knowing how to invest your money is harder than ever before. Dealing with stock market volatility, record debt, and terrorist attacks requires new thinking. At U.S. Asset Management, we can help you see the world more clearly so that you can move beyond the chaos and invest with confidence. Call us, visit us online, or drop by our office. U.S. Asset Management, helping you make better decisions with your money.
Mesquite Grill, now offering online ordering for your convenience. Check out our new website at mesquitegrillbr.com. That's mesquitegrillbr.com. The great food and service you have come to expect, ready for you when you arrive. Open 7 days a week with a fully stocked bar and friendly service. Bring your furry friends with you and dine on our pet-friendly patio. Also, check out our catering options and let us prepare delicious food for your next event.
Diane, I want to take the rest of the day off. I mean,
Could it
this
be 'cause
working.
it's raining outside?
That's exactly, you got me. Boy, that didn't take long. That didn't take long. I'm sorry, I got to recover from that. That didn't take long. Like, for some reason, I need a nap. Yes. And it's not pouring. It's just it's a sleep. It's rain designed for sleeping.
Yeah, it's just a steady rain on a metal roof. Yeah.
Yeah. Stop it. Hey, I tell you what, if you don't have a metal roof, you do not know what you're missing of the rain. You're right, Diane. I'm your host, BKP, and you're watching BKP Politics on voiceofruralamerica.com. In 30 minutes, we will have the Georgia Hour. Now, we've gone a couple directions that the deep state corporate corrupt media is not going to go in, and we do send our prayers to our Catholic friends, okay? No matter how you feel, number 5, no matter how you feel about the Catholic faith, the Catholic religion, the church, I have a lot of Catholic friends that are very good people, and I wish you well. So take that down. The white smoke. Now, what they do, the conclave, what they do is the, let me see if I have it. And If I get it wrong, my dear Catholic friends, if I get it wrong, just go ahead and tell me. I have a graphic here. I thought I had one. Yeah, give me 88. So a cardinal under 80 cannot vote on the next pope. I forget how many, like, I forget how many have to vote yes or what for the next one. But all the cardinals under 80, and they have to burn their ballots. They have to burn their ballots. They get locked into the room there. It's a secret ballot. They have to have a majority. I guess that's what it says there. But I do know this. They go into a room. They cannot have contact with the outside world in any way whatsoever. They're not supposed to. They keep voting until they get a majority for a pope. Every time they take a vote, they burn the ballots. There is a smokestack that they stand outside for days. And if it's black, if the smoke comes up and it's black, they have burnt their ballots and they have not come to a majority, and there's no pope. So every time, thousands will stand outside. News media will put cameras designated to that smokestack, and they will watch. And as that smoke comes up, if it's black, off those ballots, couldn't get a majority, no new pope. They wait for the white smoke. When the white smoke comes out of that smokestack, that is the signal that a new pope has been named. So there you go. So that is coming up. President Trump will travel. President Trump is traveling to, he's going to be at the funeral. Now, Jerome Powell. Give me number. Let's see if I have anything else here on Powell up top. We're gonna have a story on the albino rhino. Do you know who the albino rhino is? 10 o'clock coming up. Now, there's financial meltdown over Trump and Jerome Powell. Give me number 81. So Trump wants interest rates to go down. And the Federal Reserve, and I don't know what the end game is here, I will tell you this, but Jerome Powell, when Trump wants him to go, Trump says, if I want him gone, he will be gone. The Fed is not federal. It's not. It's not an agency, as you may think it's not. All right? The Fed is not an agency. I don't want to get lost in that. But Jerome Powell and the Federal Reserve, which we know needs audited, there's a power struggle here with Donald Trump. Trump calls Jerome Powell a major loser, pushes for a rate cut. Give me number 82. Preemptive cuts in interest rates are being called for by many, with energy costs way down, food prices, including Biden's egg disaster, substantially lower, and most other things trending down. There is virtually no inflation, with these costs trending so nicely downward. Just what I predicted they would do. There can also be no inflation. There can almost be no inflation, but there can be a slowing of the economy unless Mr. Too Late, that's Jerome Powell, a major loser, lower interest rates now. So Trump has a major battle with the Treasury. Remember, Trump said he wanted to see the gold. So we will see what ends up there. All right. That's another story that's developing. Number 85. Now, we can't sustain this debt. This debt is parked on the books. Linda McMahon's accountability returns to student loans. So I want to go from 91 and then I want to go back to 85. Okay, 91. Now, Biden tried a lot of smoke and mirrors with the debt. Barack Obama, remember, Barack Obama turned the federal government into that. That is why we're trying to end the Department of Education. All right. Barack Obama turned the Department of Education, the federal government, into a bank, a student loan vehicle. Now, I don't know what age you are, but, when you were a kid or even your kids, if they're in their mid-30s or whatever, you went to your local bank and you sit down and you did certain paperwork for student loans, certain interest rates, certain repayment plans, but you did student loans at banks that were approved to do them. Barack Obama said, "We will be the bank." If you control the kids, if you control the bank, if you control the money, you can't make this up. Student loan debt by numbers. 42.7 million borrowers owe money they owe more than 1.6 trillion in student loan debt. 1.6 trillion. Now, sometimes people think, well, you make simple assumptions and, it's not really that easy. If you and I owe something, we got to pay it. What kind of world are we living in? I mean, you start children out with no skin in the game from early age. They're not taught to win. They're not taught to excel. They're not taught from an early age the responsibility of repayment. I don't want to bore you, but I was 14 years old. 14 years old, and I was working an event one weekend because I worked. And I was working an event Friday afternoon and Saturday. It was a big sale for a big furniture company. And I was working an event for this guy, helping him out. I was 14 years old. And inside this place was this awesome stereo. Now, back in the day, if you don't know, back in the day, I know now this is your awesome stereo. But back in the day, this was awesome stereo. And I really wanted this stereo. I forget the price of it, right? And I didn't have the money. So the guy I was working the event for said, "Do you want that stereo?" And I said, "Yeah, I want that stereo." So he took me in the owner's office of the furniture store and he said, "This guy wants the stereo. You set him up with payments. I'll back it. I'll come in and sign." So I filled out 14 years old. I filled out paperwork for a stereo, right? Paperwork for a stereo. And, $150. We'll just go there. I don't know. And next thing I know, I got this little loan book, $16. I don't remember, but I got this little loan book with these these tear out things, and it get a date, and it said on this date I had to go here and I had to pay this amount of money, and after this date I had to pay a late fee. So every time it came time for that date, my mom made sure I got to that bank, ripped that out, put my $16 with it, and I paid my stereo off. That was a long story, wasn't it? Was that just a little too simple? Everything we do has moved our young people to not have any fiscal responsibility whatsoever. Now, you're going to say, well, my kids have fiscal responsibility, not my kids. I get it. We got a percentage out there that are really, but look at what you have here. You have 42.7 million out there that have 1.6 trillion in student loan. 5 million borrowers have not made a payment in over 365 days. You would not drive your car. You would not live in your house. I mean, you wouldn't have electricity turned on. 5 million borrowers have not made a payment in 360 days. 1.6 trillion in student loan debt in this country. I mean, so Linda McMahon, let me get past this, number 85. Let me go back there. Linda McMahon, accountability returns to student loans. 84, Wall Street Journal, Linda McMahon, accountability returns to student loans. On May 5th, we will begin the process of moving roughly 1.8 million borrowers into repayment plans and restart collection of loans in default. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Are you telling me I may have to get a job? Yes. Are you telling me I have to pay that back? Yes. If you have enough on the ball to go to college, you should understand the documents you sign, that simple, say you have to pay for college. And if you are that damn dumb, well, we won't go there. Don't have time for that segment. Borrowers who don't make payments on time will see their credit scores go down, and in some cases, their wages automatically garnished. Wait a minute. Because my student loans are off the books, my credit score looks great, and I'm buying the new iPhone every year. I mean, every day I go and buy something. You're going to tell me if I don't pay this back, you're going to crash my credit score? Yeah. You mean you're going to go and garnish my wages? Yeah. The only thing this is called the real world. This is the real world. So I'm telling you right now, repayment of this money, well, we're moving forward. I can't wait to see this happen. So today, we're going to, let me make sure, just a couple things. Number 7, I want to show you this interesting chart. This is artificial intelligence investment, right? Total private investment from 2013 to 2024. The investment in artificial intelligence, I just wanted to show you that. Let me double check. I always like to do this at this time, make sure I'm not missing anything. Number 45, this is a pay attention moment, right? Klaus Schwab retired, put in his resignation yesterday, So I have an enormous amount of Georgia news. I really do. I have another day of enormous amount of Georgia news, some updates on who could be running for office, and continuing the level of corruption. So what we're going to do is we're going to get out just a minute early here. So tell your friends, and we're going to start probably about 9:52, about 8 minutes early. We're going to start the Georgia Hour. So if you got friends out there that are used to tuning in at 10, we're going to start about 9 minutes early. We have a lot to cover on Georgia. And if you're out there watching nationally, don't leave. Don't leave. Diane, will you know the video I sent you? I told you to mark it video 8. Will you play that for me briefly?
When you dismiss people who you believe are leaking classified information, and again, the investigation is ongoing and that will take time, and when the evidence produced, it will go to DOJ, why would it surprise anybody, Brian, if those very same people keep leaking to the very same reporters whatever information they think they can have to try to sabotage the agenda of the president or the secretary? So once a leaker, always a leaker, often a leaker. And so we look for leakers because we take it very seriously. And we will do the investigation. Right. And if those people are exonerated, fantastic. We don't think, based on what we understand, that it's going to be a good day for a number of those individuals because of what was found in the investigation. So if they want to keep leaking and pushing and peddling things that try to sabotage the president's agenda, that's unfortunate. But that's how leaking works in this town. We're focused on recruiting, on rooting out DEI, on securing our southwest border, on the president's agenda, and it's going very well at the Pentagon, and I'm proud of it.
Give me number 26. Remember this. Remember this. Pay attention to this. Dan Caldwell, let me see if I can get that correct. I made an error several times earlier. Dan Caldwell was one of the strongest voices at the Pentagon opposing war with Iran. Then he was falsely accused. Now, Tucker writes this in the affirmative. He was falsely accused of leaking classified documents and was fired. Pay attention. When we return, it's time for the Georgia Hour.
Chevy buyers, Truck Month has been extended at Days Chevrolet in Jasper with up to $9,000 off new 2025 Silverado 2500 Crew Cab 4-wheel drives. From light duty to heavy duty, you're going to save a payload during Truck Month, up to $9,000. Come get them before they're gone at Days Chevrolet in Jasper. Days Chevrolet. Days gets it done. Together, let's drive.
Larry's Body Shop in Ellijay. Family owned and operated since 1978. The latest in cutting-edge digital technology and state-of-the-art equipment allow our iCard Gold Class certified technicians to restore your vehicle. Our second-to-none customer service will work directly with your insurance company. Major accident or minor fender bender, we take the dents out of accidents. Larry's Body Shop, North Georgia's #1 body shop. Visit us at collisiondecision.com.
Why give your money to liberal media companies? Put your marketing needs in the hands of a conservative marketing professional and start getting results today. FYN Media Group, one of the top digital marketing agencies in Georgia, specializes in website design and hosting, social media promotion and management, and so much more. Visit FYNmediagroup.com or call 706-889-3564 for a free consultation.
Welcome to El Rey Azteca Mexican Restaurant. We invite you to indulge your senses with our from-scratch authentic Mexican food. Whether you are hungry for fajitas or the El Rey Azteca burrito, we offer a wide variety of fine Mexican dishes, drinks, and desserts. Our inviting patio, indoor seating, and bar has a seat for everyone. So come to El Rey Azteca for delicious food, great drinks, good friends, and loads of fun in a casual and friendly atmosphere.
Ladies, when you wear elegant jewelry, you become a force to be reckoned with. You shine brighter than the stars in the sky, and your inner beauty radiates like the sun. So embrace the magic, embrace the elegance, and let your jewelry be a reflection of your true, authentic self. My friends over at North Georgia Diamond know what a woman wants. Go see them for the perfect gift. And remember, when it comes to elegance, there's no such thing as too much. Come see us at North Georgia Diamond. We're igniting passion one sparkle at a time.
In 1981, Reed Nicholson began selling tires out of an old barn in Mineral Bluff. Little did he know that he had just laid the groundwork for the most trusted names in automotive services in the Blue Ridge area. In 1997, Nicholson Tire Center became what it is today, holding the same values of faith, family, and great customer service. 2 locations to serve you, and the Blue Ridge location is currently expanding to offer fast service and the largest U-Haul provider in Georgia. Nicholson Tire Center, Blue Ridge, and Mineral Bluff.
This is a special report.
Knowing how to invest your money is harder than ever before. Dealing with stock market volatility, record debt, and terrorist attacks requires new thinking. At U.S. Asset Management, we can help you see the world more clearly so that you can move beyond the chaos and invest with confidence. Call us, visit us online, or drop by our office. U.S. Asset Management, helping you make better decisions with your money.
Mesquite Grill, now offering online ordering for your convenience. Check out our new website at mesquitegrillbr.com. That's mesquitegrillbr.com. The great food and service you have come to expect, ready for you when you arrive. Open 7 days a week with a fully stocked bar and friendly service. Bring your furry friends with you and dine on our pet-friendly patio. Also, check out our catering options and let us prepare delicious food for your next event.
All right, folks, we are back. You're watching the Georgia Hour with BKP. Georgia Hour with BKP on voiceofruralamerica.com. Now, Diane, this is one I don't know where to start. I truly don't. The level of corruption. So let's go here. This is on out there on social media, so I don't care to share it. Now, in the state of Georgia, we have the 9th district, which is the most Republican voting district in the state and one of the most Republican voting districts in the United States. That's the 9th district. And we have the 10th district, which is over there where Mike Collins is. And we have the 9th, the 7th, the 11th, and the 14th. The top of Georgia. So if you're out there, I should have put a map up of all the districts. So I didn't do that. We have some updates about Brian Kemp. Updates about who's running for office. In fact, I think Brian Kemp's brother-in-law, could you check? I will in the break, Brian Kemp, the governor of Georgia's brother-in-law, Bill Cozart, is that his name, is running for attorney general, and I think he's announcing this morning. So last night I went to a forum, number 51, and I want to start here for the simple reason we're trying to drain the Josh McCoon swamp, the Georgia GOP Inc. And you can find this meeting. There's if you're out there, we have 14 districts in Georgia, and all 14 districts have a chair, a Republican chair for that district, for those counties. And we have the 14th, which has been cornered by the establishment, Denise Burns. Josh McCoon has, I don't know exactly what was used. I can't say monetarily, but he's purchased loyalty in the 14th. I have suspicions of what's happened over there. Don't know that it was ching-ching, but somehow he cornered the 14th. So just a really quick note. It can never happen again. It's the Trump effect. You're watching it. You are watching. It could never happen again. Now, this is the Georgia GOP. I won the race for first vice chair of the Georgia GOP. I was not supposed to. In fact, BJ Van Gundy was supposed to win. Okay. Jason Thompson, his best friend, David Schaefer. BJ Van Gundy was supposed to win his third term. Marcy Ridge. So I am, and I will tell you this, I am the never could happen again. Remember when Donald Trump won in 2016, they did everything they could for this not to happen again. Period. The Georgia GOP has done that. Now, they picked Dalton for their convention. Really simple. Why? Because there was complaint of continuing to go towards Savannah, or complaints of continuing to have North Georgia have to drive all the way to Columbus. Well, we'll make it simple. They will argue with this, and I will love the argument because it will just validate the truth. The bottom line is they need the 14th district to come in for Josh McCoon. That's Marjorie Taylor Greene is doing this. So if you have it in Dalton, and you have Denise Burns, and you have Jackie Hardling, and you have a guy over in Paulding County, you have Sally Grubbs and Cobb that's in the 14th now, a lot of Cobb. If you have that, and you corner the 14th, and you're concerned the 2nd district down around Columbus down there, you're concerned that South Georgia could come in a different way, you have it in Dalton. There's a reason they have it in Dalton. Take the 9th, that would be Stephen Aaron. He's trying to take the 7th. Melanie, is that her name? I forget her last name, against David Oles. They're trying to take the MAGA. They're not MAGA. They're trying to destroy the grassroots. And they're trying to take the 9th, the 7th, the 11th, and they got the 14th. So I went to the 9th district last night, and I want to tell you, Stephen Aaron, I know this guy since senior in high school. All right. Long time. This guy lived and died David Ralston in our district. This guy right here, Stephen Aaron, and you be the judge, but this guy right here, Stephen Aaron, you can go to the reports. Stephen Aaron received a lot of money from David Ralston. Now, in transparency, advertising our company because I'm in the 7th district, our company received money from the Ralston campaign. So that's transparent. That's for Bill Simons out there that doesn't think that we have no dark money. We have no dark money here at the company. So Ralston did spend money here with marketing, in the marketing campaign. You can go look all that up. You can go look up everyone that ever spent more money here in the not with me, not on our program, in the marketing company. Because I'm for sure somebody like Debbie will come out immediately and try to attack me. But then again, you know you're going to hear the truth when you tune in here. So Stephen Aaron was David Ralston's campaign manager. Stephen Aaron got paid every week. I think it was $700 a week. I'm not for sure, but he got paid. This guy put out 100 Ralston signs. This guy lived in the county, and this guy is, as I know some don't like Rhino, establishment. This guy is not, Stephen Aaron is not a supporter of Donald J. Trump. I'm going to say, I'm pretty sure, wink, wink, he voted for Nikki Haley. Pretty sure. Okay. Now, he is a professional politician. That's all he's done since high school. I don't think he's ever had his hands dirty. Relax, not attacking, just saying. He will claim he works on a farm. He'll claim, he works in an apple orchard. But he has his whole life as a political career, period. Now, that's okay. That's okay. He's running against Brian Parker, former chair of Banks County. I think he may still be the chair. I don't know, but he's running against Brian Parker in the 9th district. So I would think that with all the facts, I mean facts. I don't mean speculation. I'm not going to bring Diane into this unless she chose to turn her microphone on, if she chose. But with all the facts that Stephen Aaron is as establishment as they get, all right, he gets a full-throated endorsement by none other than number 23. Yes. The David Ralston's former campaign manager would still be campaign manager if he's alive. And the Nikki Haley voter, the anti-Donald Trump, I am absolutely supporting Stephen Aaron for GOP 9th District chair. Did Josh call this in? Stephen is a worker bee. I'm going to tell you, he's a little more than a worker bee. Oh. And he has impressed me with how hard he works for the number of years. Debbie's impressed. She's glossed over everything David Ralston, everything GRA, everything Republican values. Now, the guy on the screen last night adamantly, I got it on video, adamantly said he's opposed. My words are 100%, but if you watch it, that's what it equaled. He is opposed to the accountability rule. Why he got so wishy-washy when I asked him, because we're tired in North Georgia. I don't know where you're at, but we are tired of people checking off the boxes, writing a check, and getting on our Republican ballot that we know are Democrats. Okay? We're tired of it. All right? Let's see. Okay, I get it. Republicans need to remember we turned out for Trump, not for the GOP. I get it. Okay, I like that. All right, okay. So, now, that being said, totally against accountability. He knows the area. He knows we have Democrats. He voted for Democrats that posed as Republicans. But Debbie said he will be an asset to the 9th District. Now, Debbie's backing him. his opponent, Brian Parker, was recruited by disgraced. Debbie, that bothers me because I grew up knowing it was a shame and disgrace. So I want a shame and disgrace to go with it. I don't want to just be disgraced. By the shame and disgraced, I'm adding that. Former GOP first vice chair Brian, that would be me, and will be a rubber stamp for Pritchard and David Cross. Well. So Debbie, her hate for the truth, her swimming in the swamp. People, if you pay attention to anything else this woman says, if you're out there and you're getting her emails, if you're getting Debbie Dooley's emails and you're reading them, will you please, if I was you, just start deleting these things. I mean, she will do anything. She has to be. Now, I don't know this because obviously the dark money, Bill Simons, listen up. The dark money is out there. And, you know, Debbie, who do you get paid? Who pays you? Like, how much does this cost? If I have a candidate, let's just roll it this way, Debbie. If I have a candidate that would like for this kind of, you know, work to be done, what's the ballpark? $300 for one of these, or can we get it $150, or you have a discount for 10? I'm just wondering, what do you charge to endorse a Rhino Nikki Haley voter like Stephen Aaron and say it would be a plus for the 9th district, the most Republican voting district in the state and one in the United States? Just how low will you go, Debbie? That coming from me, the disgraced guy. Where did my screen go? What was that? What was that? Are you testing me?
I meant to press something else because I wanted to say something.
Go for it.
All right. So, hold on. Let me get the picture up. So, you know, I've worked with Stephen. I've worked alongside him, and they have not built he has not helped to build the party here in Gilmer County, which you know. So I wrote a little, I did some research comparing Gilmer County to Banks County, that's where Brian Parker's from, is Banks County. And so I gave this to, I wrote Brian and telling him thank you for his willingness to run. And I go in to talk about the election. I said, in a county that votes 80% for Donald Trump, we had 35 people in our convention. That's in Gilmer County. We normally have about 10 people in our monthly meetings, 10 to 15 people in our monthly meetings. From what I hear, unfortunately, I can't always go to those meetings because they're not a time that I can go. But so we only increased our Trump vote by 1,000 votes. That's 6% in 4 years. Whereas you, and I'm talking to Brian Parker, whereas you and your team in Banks County have increased the Trump vote by 16%. That's 15 votes in a county half our size. And where was Stephen? Not in Gilmer County. He was too busy with his political checklist. If he were the district chair, it would be devastating for our district. We can't afford to lose any votes to the Democrats, who are gaining steam and have a plan to take over the state by 2030. All the information that you're aware of, all of that information I'm sure you're aware of. If anything, we should be doubling down because we have more votes in the cracks of our counties that need to be reached and motivated to vote Republican to save our rural culture. And then I go on, but yeah.
So, all right. So let's I want to get to my next segment from the 9th District, but I want to talk that I want to tie in Debbie Dooley because, as you well know, I mean, she's running water for Josh McCoon, and right here in the 9th District, they're trying to. That's why Michael Watney from the RNC, and I'm going to give you something we need to do because I know you're out there paying attention. We're not just talking about the 9th District. We're talking about the overall state corruption and the plan to de-MAGA. Let me tell you something. They're going to say no. But they flipped the 11th District from David Oles. They flipped the 7th District. They flipped the 9th District. They will de-MAGA Georgia. In North Georgia, it'll be de-MAGA. And that's their goal. And Josh is behind it. Now, let's build on what Diane said, because here's what I want to do. Thank you, Diane. I knew you weren't going to make it, Diane. I knew you were. I knew what was going on. So, Gilmer County, his district, Stephen Aaron's home district, okay? Pay attention. Because I was there last night, and he bragged and bragged and bragged about turnout, and he bragged on how many doors he knocked on in Washington State, and he bragged on how many doors he knocked on in Texas, and he bragged on how many apartment doors he knocked on in Atlanta. Well, he bragged and bragged. I think in so many years, he's knocked on 500,000 doors. Now, Gilmer County. He used to be county chair in Gilmer, right? Now, as you can hear by the data, Gilmer did not come in as strong. A county half the size Banks, Brian Parker's from, they came in stronger in vote count for Trump than Stephen Aaron's county. Now, keep this in mind. Stephen Aaron is the current first vice chair of the 9th District. First vice chair of the 9th District. So this guy's not new. He's first vice chair of the 9th District. His county did not perform as well, but he wants to go on and be the chair. Now, the other thing about it that I want to build up, because I know this for a fact, they only had 35 at their convention. I used to go to Gilmer County Convention 10 years ago when we had 100 in the room. Oh, yeah, J.C. Sanford and well, I don't want to go on there, okay? But we'd have 100 in the room. Now, his home county, I'm going to throw it out there. You ready? His home county now only has about 10 showing up at the county Republican Party meetings. Now, sadly, nobody stood up last night. And I felt if I asked this question, you'd think I was just attacking him. I don't know how this comes across. But if the guy, this is what gets me. If the guy stood up last night and bragged on what all they could do, his county, he won't go. If you're out there in a 9th District and you're a county chair, he will not support you with election integrity. He will not support you having an election integrity committee. He will not support helping you clean up your voter rolls. And he will not help grow your party if he thinks the wrong people are there. Diana, put you on the spot.
He doesn't think that there's a problem with our elections. He thinks that he'll tell you the talking point that Donald Trump won on the machines. So what's the problem?
He's from Gilmer County. Diane's Gilmer County GOP. The lady knows of what she speaks. I have a question for you. Let's just use the last year. In the last year, how many monthly meetings do you think he's attended at Gilmer County Republican Party in the last year?
Only the ones that he comes and speaks at for his leadership training. He doesn't come. He wasn't
just to the meeting.
Yeah,
right.
He wasn't there this past week.
Right. Right. He wasn't there this past week. And he generally doesn't go to the meetings in Gilmer because there are one too many MAGA people there, is in my opinion. I know who goes to the Gilmer meeting, and I know who's wanting to take it back over. Yes, I know. All right. So I'm just telling you right now, can we go back to everything? Now, you heard Diane. Don't take it from me. Because I know there's days you like get, you're like, BKP, I'm a little iffy. Can you go back to number 23? Oh, okay. Diane, Gilmer County. Stephen, Gilmer County. Diane, you need to know that Debbie Dooley is supporting Stephen Aaron. I don't know what you think about that. Now, I know you're already aware I'm the disgraced first vice chair. That's not shocking. But she's supporting Debbie Dooley supporting Stephen and has endorsed him.
I sure hope it backfires.
I do too. I hope everything backfires. This is the last thing I'm going to say on this. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back because we're going to take this into the big world of the corruption of the GOP Inc. We're going to take this into the big world. We're far from done today. But let me give you an example. Debbie Dooley will endorse and support a full-throated rhino establishment and try to lie to you. You notice, let's see, absolutely supported. She's impressed with his work. Debbie, can you help me? I'm going to get out, but could you review that and tell me if you see MAGA, Trump, or America First in any of those statements? Clock's ticking. Do you? Diane, that was your question.
You called me Debbie.
I did not. It didn't happen. Diane.
No.
Diane.
Stephen Aaron is not MAGA. I know him from...
But do you see, even in Debbie's support, does she say this is a MAGA, America First candidate, Trump supporter?
Nope.
That's right.
He's not.
He's not. And I'm telling you right now, Debbie will do that for other candidates. So we're going to have to be concerned in the future. All right, when we return, give me number 21. The albino rhino will make an appearance. Yep, the albino rhino right there. Brant Frost, the albino rhino. Take a break.
At Days Chevrolet in Jasper, we're proud because for more than 65 years, we've built a legacy of trust for the families we serve. That's why 80% of our business comes from repeat customers and referrals. When you treat folks as well as we do, word is bound to get around. Days Chevrolet in Jasper, family first since 1959. Days Chevrolet, Days gets it done. Together, let's drive.
Larry's Body Shop in Ellijay. Family owned and operated since 1978. The latest in cutting edge digital technology and state of the art equipment allow our iCard Gold Class certified technicians to restore your vehicle. Our second to none customer service will work directly with your insurance company. Major accident or minor fender bender, we take the dents out of accidents. Larry's Body Shop, North Georgia's #1 body shop. Visit us at collisiondecision.com.
Why give your money to liberal media companies? Put your marketing needs in the hands of a conservative marketing professional and start getting results today. FYN Media Group, one of the top digital marketing agencies in Georgia, specializes in website design and hosting, social media promotion and management, and so much more. Visit FYNmediagroup.com or call 706-889-3564 for a free consultation.
Welcome to El Rey Azteca Mexican Restaurant. We invite you to indulge your senses with our from-scratch authentic Mexican food. Whether you are hungry for fajitas or the El Rey Azteca burrito, we offer a wide variety of fine Mexican dishes, drinks, and desserts. Our inviting patio, indoor seating, and bar has a seat for everyone. So come to El Rey Azteca for delicious food, great drinks, good friends, and loads of fun in a casual and friendly atmosphere.
Ladies, when you wear elegant jewelry, you become a force to be reckoned with. You shine brighter than the stars in the sky, and your inner beauty radiates like the sun. So embrace the magic, embrace the elegance, and let your jewelry be a reflection of your true, authentic self. My friends over at North Georgia Diamond know what a woman wants. Go see them for the perfect gift. And remember, when it comes to elegance, there's no such thing as too much. Come see us at North Georgia Diamond. We're igniting passion one sparkle at a time.
In 1981, Reed Nicholson began selling tires out of an old barn in Mineral Bluff. Little did he know that he had just laid the groundwork for the most trusted names in automotive services in the Blue Ridge area. In 1997, Nicholson Tire Center became what it is today, holding the same values of faith, family, and great customer service. 2 locations to serve you, and the Blue Ridge location is currently expanding to offer fast service and the largest U-Haul provider in Georgia. Nicholson Tire Center, Blue Ridge, and Mineral Bluff.
This is a special report.
Knowing how to invest your money is harder than ever before. Dealing with stock market volatility, record debt, and terrorist attacks requires new thinking. At U.S. Asset Management, we can help you see the world more clearly so that you can move beyond the chaos and invest with confidence. Call us, visit us online, or drop by our office. U.S. Asset Management, helping you make better decisions with your money.
Mesquite Grill, now offering online ordering for your convenience. Check out our new website at mesquitegrillbr.com. That's mesquitegrillbr.com. The great food and service you have come to expect, ready for you when you arrive. Open 7 days a week with a fully stocked bar and friendly service. Bring your furry friends with you and dine on our pet-friendly patio. Also, check out our catering options and let us prepare delicious food for your next event.
All right, folks, we're back. You're watching the Georgia Hour with BKP on voiceofruralamerica.com. Now, I want to show you something briefly. We have our guest waiting. We're going to be about 3-4 minutes before we bring our guest in. But in the Georgia GOP Inc., where is my swamp? Where's the swamp when I'm looking for it? Give me number 64. So we have the Georgia GOP Inc. And when we have our convention, just a little note here, if you're not a delegate, we have, I'm going to give you the background so you get a full understanding. When you go to your county meeting and you convention and you want to become a delegate, you put your name on the list for a delegate, and at your county votes and accepts you as a delegate, and they send your name into the state. So whatever county you're in, you're going to be a delegate for that state. Same thing with the district. So when you go to your county convention, your county picks district delegates and state delegates. Now, In the state of Georgia, we can run up to around 2,000 delegates. We don't know how many for state, but that happens to your county. So your county compiles all their delegates, and they send their paperwork in to Karen Henschel, okay, over at the Georgia GOP Inc., and Karen compiles all the delegates together. Now, if you're a state officer, so let's go from here to number 9. So these people here that you see on the list, all right, we'll just keep it clean here. We won't make some accusations at the current time. So these people here on the list are the candidates. And as you can see, Kylie Krimmer is added to assistant secretary, and Lisa Pierce for first vice chair. Now, once all the delegates of the state, 2,000, are compiled, every candidate is supposed to get the same list at the same time on the same day of the delegates. So these candidates can start campaigning, officially campaigning. Now, for weeks on end, we've been waiting for the delegate list. We're already up to April 22nd, waiting for the delegate list. Not ready. But in the meantime, candidates have been asking, where's the NDA? Now, you got to sign a little disclosure form, and you got to sign an agreement saying you're not going to send these out and give them to some marketing company. Not going to happen, all right? And you're supposed to agree to that you won't give them away and so forth, and you'll protect the delegate list. A little simple thing. Now, every time these candidates ask for the NDA, because they've had weeks, well, it's not ready. It's not ready. So the swampy, corrupt Georgia GOP Inc. prepares the NDA and says, oh, here's the carrot. We've got the delegates ready. Sign this. Sign this. Now, keep in mind, every one of these positions are supposed to be, even the chairman will say, I'm a volunteer chairman. We'll discuss that on a different day. But these are supposed to be volunteer positions. No money, right? Why would they enter into an agreement with a corporation, all right, that they're not even a member of, to do a job that they don't even have really a job description, with the exception of the treasurer and the secretary? Why would they sign a 9-page legal document to get the delegates? Maybe that's to prevent them from campaigning. Oh, this is the most dirty election. Oh, yeah, Republicans manipulating an election. So, yesterday, when I ran for office, give me number 11, all right? We'll get our guest here in just a moment, if he could please hang on with us. Now, give me number 11. This is what was sent to me on that day, all right? So I got in 2023, I told you, I am the never can happen again. So agreement for release of delegates and alternate information under state party rules. Well, we got rules, blah, blah, blah. So I'm looking here, line one, boom, 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 boom. Yeah, recipient agrees not to sell the delegates or alternatives, okay, all right. Further agrees not to share, okay, all right, except for those working on the recipient's candidacy. So if I have people working on my candidacy, they can help me. I can give this out to people to make phone calls. That's working, blah, blah, blah. Let's see. Oh, delegate, alternative, file account. So you sign that. You see that? You sign that, and you send it back, and you get the delegates, and you start campaigning. All right? Those are the voters. That's who votes. Then the next one came out, and this one is, and this is online, so I didn't steal this, and I'm not abusing number 10. So they altered it a little bit, and here you go. This is what Amy Kramer had to sign, all right? And it looks close to what I signed. All right. Now, first of all, I am the it can never happen again. And Amy is the I be damned it happened twice. We got to put a stop to this. So, as you can see, that's what she was sent. Might be a word or two different. Now, so yesterday, the candidates receive, now you see that. Okay, you can look at it. There's no, give me number 12. They wrote a legal document. Look at this. You can take time to read it later. Number 12, non-disclosure and Now, Josh knew I could not pronounce that word. That's why they put it up there. So anyhow, we're going down through here. Republican Party, blah, 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 blah. Background, the Georgia disclosed, blah, 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 blah. This is page 1. Give me number 13. The meaning of agents means volunteer, blah, blah, blah. Confidential information. It's 13. Blah, blah, blah. Wow. Trade secrets. Protect the trade secrets. Wow. It's number 14. Integrity and ownership. Integrity and ownership. Obligations of receiving of the receiving party. Your obligations. Yeah, this is a contract. This is number 14. Use and handling. Wow. Give me number 15 as we continue. Notice of unauthorized disclosure. The receiving party shall promptly notify the GOP in writing if something happened. Let's see. Return number 13 or destruction of information. Okay. Number 16, the term. Now listen to this. Here's the term. This is a volunteer position. This is a legal contract. Josh is an attorney. Alex Kaufman, look at what they wrote. I signed a page like this. No dollar values. It didn't scare me. Okay. Confidential information. The receiving party's obligations under this agreement with respect to confidential information will terminate 5 years after the date of the agreement. Once you sign this, you're beholden to this agreement for 5 years. Trade secrets, non-solicitation, all right? Remedies, all right? Remedies. Give me number 17, trade secrets. All right, no, 18. Give me number 18. Liquidated damages. Recipient and GAGOP agree that in the event recipient fails to comply with the terms and agreement, damages would be uncertain and difficult, if not impossible, to accurately estimate. So what they're doing is you're liable in the amount of $25,000, and that is the amount is not a penalty, but instead an intended by parties to be and shall be deemed liquidated damages. Wow. Now, if you go down there, it's $25,000 per occurrence. Per occurrence. Wow. Wow. Notices. Any notice. Now listen to this. This is number 12 under general provisions down there. Any notice or demand made by the parties which under the term of the agreement or under any statute shall be in writing and shall be deemed to be duly given only if delivered personally, emailed, or mailed by registered or certified return recipient receipt to the Georgia GOP, attention Chairman Josh McCoon. Man. And their attorney, Adam Kaufman, right? Wow, man, hold on. There's another page, number 19. The entire agreement, this agreement constitutes a final and exclusive agreement between parties. Number 11.5 on 19, governing law, the laws of Georgia and the rules of the Georgia GOP exclusively governed under matters arising under the relating to the agreement. Venue and jurisdiction. The parties hereby agree that the state and federal courts and other tribunals, you could be called before the tribunal located in Fulton County, Georgia, shall have the sole and exclusive jurisdiction over any disputes. You can't afford the battle. If they say you have 3 violations, $75,000 plus attorney's fees, you got to go fight it in Fulton County. Let's see, counterparts, written and waivers. And then you got number 20, the Georgia GOP, signed, received, name, exhibit. You have to do this legal contract to volunteer to do a position, to risk everything, that they could go get a judgment attached to your house. I mean, it is ridiculous. This is intimidation, manipulation of an election interference. In fact, I think anyone out there should ask Donald Trump to see what's going on. And I tell you, Michael Watley of the RNC, let me look at the camera. Everyone out there listening, Michael Watley at the RNC, the chairman of the RNC, will be in the 9th District on Friday night, okay? We need to be sending him right now, Twitter, X, we need to be sending him right now, don't come in to Georgia, the 9th District, and endorse Josh McCoon. And we need to be tagging all of this corruption to the RNC. All right, I'm sorry to take so long. I do have a guest. I apologize for holding him. If he is available, my guest, Derek Allen, Revive the Community. Is he available, Diane? I'm sorry I went a little long. Good morning.
Good morning, Brian. How you doing?
I'm okay. I just get a little fired up from time to time, Derek.
Nothing wrong with that. It's a pleasure to join you this morning.
All right, so Derek and I have been talking. I met Derek several years ago. We several years ago at an event. So I was at this event in the way back. In fact, I remember where it was at, Derek, and this guy started coming towards me, and I was like, "Well, did I do something wrong? I mean, what's this guy going to say to me?" And you stuck your hand out, you shook my hand, and you said you watched the show, and I appreciate it. And you and I have been friends ever since. You remember that day?
I do. Was it at was it in Conyers?
Exactly, that's where it was.
At the Vernon Jones had brought me out.
Yes, that's where.
He's the candidate that had me interested in that debate.
So, and the reason I bring that up, Derek has gone to. He is. I have bumped into you at a breakfast at Gwinnett County. I've bumped into you at different forums and debates. You have been involved in the Republican Party. You have a group called Revive the Community. I know you work on outreach, minority outreach, trying to bring people into the party and reach the voters that we can't get to. I know you do a lot of work on that. And you and I were talking, and you wanted to come on and basically share how you got into the Republican Party. You were telling me something about Stacey Abrams and some things she was doing, how you got into the party, what attracted you, and how inclusive do you feel the Republican Party is at this time?
When I think about how inclusive the party is, I don't want to offend any of the people who have made me feel very welcome, because there are a lot of people that's welcomed me into the party. But with that being said, there are some people who are real standoffish towards me, as if I've done something wrong to them. And I hate to bring up this guy's name, but our chairman, Josh McCoon, 2 years ago at the state convention, my family's from Columbus, so I had the pleasure of having my dad drop me off. I didn't have to park or do all that. So as my dad was dropping me off at the convention, he seen a Josh McCoon sign, and he was like, I didn't know Josh McCoon was going to be here. And I was like, you know who Josh McCoon is? And he was like, yeah. I said, how you know who Josh is? Because that was just took me by surprise. So my dad was like, he was a state senator down here. And I was like, oh, okay. I said, I didn't know that. I only know Josh McCoon from running to be chairman of the party. So long story short, that night, after the first night of the convention, we was all outside the Marriott. And my dad heard somebody talking to Josh McCoon. And, my dad's just like any other citizen. He was like, he's like, why don't you introduce me to Josh? I was like, you know what? It's crazy. I done met and talked to a lot of people that's running for state office, but I never really met Josh. So I knew who he was. So I walked up to him and I was like, hey, Josh, I'm a delegate. I heard you might have a shot at winning. And I was just wondering, what were your plans for minority outreach? And I quickly introduced him to my dad. And he was like, well, I don't want to count my chickens before they hatch. So if I win, I'll be sure to reach out to hear your perspective on minority outreach. We shook hands. Everything was cool. Fast forward to October of 2023. Josh comes to Gwinnett County. I walk up on him and I'm like, hey, Josh, you probably don't remember me, but we met in Columbus. He's like, yeah, I remember you. And I was like, I was wondering, are we still going to do any committees for outreach? And he was like, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. Here's my number. Put it in your phone. He's like, better yet, I'm going to call your phone and he's like, I'm going to send you a text and just lock my number in your phone. And I was like, cool. So I done that. And he was like, expect to hear from me sometime next week. Cool. I know Josh is a busy man. Never heard from him. Didn't really hold it against him. Busy man. Fast forward to, I was at a forum a couple weeks ago. I was wondering why Lori McClain, our treasurer, doesn't have access to the books. So I was like, hey, there go Josh right there. I might as well just go ask him personally. So I go up and I ask Josh, and he started to answer the question. And then he was like, you know what? He's like, I know you heard this before. His exact words. I know you heard this before, but you and I, we should get together for a lunch. As soon as he said get together for lunch, I knew to myself that would never happen. If he would have told me, let's make time to have a quick phone conversation next week, I would have had a little bit more faith in that. But he was like, here, he was like, what's your number? I'm gonna text you so you can remember to call me next week. Fast forward to next week, I text him, hey Josh, this is Derek. I was like, this is Derek. I was wondering if we could get together and talk about that minority outreach. Like, it's been over 2 years now. I wasn't expecting a response, and I didn't get a response. So the next day, I sent him question marks. And he was like, I'm trying to move a few meetings around so we can meet. I just kind of laughed at myself. I was like, this guy's never going to meet with me. And as a delegate, I'm like, that's kind of disrespectful because I offer a different perspective from the perspective that he's used to. See, politics is local. And Gwinnett County, to me, is the battlefield for the state of Georgia. We have a lot of Black conservatives in southern Gwinnett County. Unfortunately, them Black conservatives make up part of the Democratic coalition. and they vote Democrats, but they're conservative. They're kind of like me. I've been married to the same woman 20 years. All of my kids live in my house. We faithfully go to church every Sunday, but my model of conservatism doesn't match up with what Josh thinks a conservative should be. And that's interesting to me. I feel like at this time, Josh should be trying to expand the party, reach out into communities that don't often vote Republican. And Josh had a miracle fall into his lap in Jaquan Stevenson?
Stembridge.
I mean, like, if I was Josh, I would have been praying for a guy like that. Young, energetic, and let's be honest, he's black. And we need more black representation in the party. This guy put himself out there to run for assistant secretary. Instead of Josh embracing him, Josh asked the man to get out of the race because he needs people on his board that's going to contribute money. And I thought we were supposed to put the people first. We the people, not we the money. Now, with that being said, I understand fundraising is a very big part of politics, but how could you deny a kid like Jaquan? I mean, I didn't want to like him when I first seen him, but I was like, you know what? This kid is impressive. So for somebody who's really big on election integrity, calling someone and asking them to get out of the election, that's tampering. To me, that's not a fair and balanced election. So I'm really concerned about the direction of the party. When I look at the state of Georgia, Georgia is different from most states because of a historical perspective. In Georgia, our percentage of black people is so high. We have a lot of black people in this state. And when I went to the state convention in 2023, I didn't know where I was. I'm like, in the convention hall, I think we had over 2,000 delegates and maybe 50 were black. And if I was in charge of the Georgia GOP and I truly wanted to preserve conservative rule in the state, preserve our Constitution, and expand the party, I wouldn't be running around the state talking about I'm the head coach that led us to this big victory last November when we had Trump at the top of the ballot. Having Trump at the top of the ballot, I believe my 10-year-old son could have led the Georgia State Republicans to the victory. When Josh was running to be state chairman, he was running against, it was Josh McCoon, Rebecca Yardley, and Dennis Fudge. Rebecca was on a show and she was like, any delegate out there that would like to ask me any questions, and she gave her number. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna call her bluff. I'm gonna text her, introduce myself, and see if she'll respond. And to my surprise, not only did she respond, but we had a very, very long conversation, almost an hour. And when we first got on the phone, I explained to her that, Rebecca, I'm a black man. I see the world completely different from you, but we have the same agenda. A lot of people in this country, Democrats specifically, are trying to destroy our Constitution. And our Constitution is the most fair form of government that's ever been written. And if we lose it, we'll never again be in a society where people are truly free men. So that's why I came over to the Republican Party. I want my sons to have the same opportunity that I had. And I think it's imperative that we defend our freedoms before we lose them.
Let me unpack a little of that, and I appreciate your openness to talk about it, and I didn't want to get in your way. And I want to go with same agenda, and I wrote that down because I've tried to tell people, I'm a lifelong Republican. I meet people much like yourself that tell me the story all the time of how they became a Republican. my dad, we were born Republican. So I got to be open to listen to that. And when you say this, the same agenda, I try to tell our party, yours also, that if we go into these neighborhoods, guess what? No matter where you live, they want a safe school. They don't want drugs. I mean, we have the same agenda. I could go in to some neighborhoods that you would think I would never go into and sit down, and before I leave, people will be saying, well, I guess I'm a conservative. Because we do have a lot of the same values, and I do think that outreach is there. I've always said it. Even said when I ran for first vice chair, I said it that, I want the outreach that we're not, because am I correct, is the voter base or the population base in Georgia 38% black?
When you look at the demographics of the country, Texas as a state has the most black residents. I think they have like 3,900,000. The percentage of black people in Texas is still only like 12%, because Texas, if I'm not mistaken, I'm coming off the top of my head, they got about 25 million people, if not a little more. So when you look at the percentage, the black percentage of people in Texas isn't all that high. The next state with the most black people in it is the state of Georgia. We have a little under, we're almost at 3 million. We're about 150,000 behind Texas. But here's the caveat to that. When you look at the percentage of people in Georgia, the black percentage in Georgia is way higher than Texas. It's, like you said, like 35 to 36%. And it's still growing because nationwide, Metro Atlanta is known as the Black Mecca. So Black people are constantly moving to the state of Georgia. And if the Republican Party doesn't go out and get into these neighborhoods, we're going to lose conservative leadership in Georgia. But another caveat on top of that, how conservative is the Republican Party? See this flag on my chest? This is the American flag. This is the flag that my dad wore on the side of his uniform. My dad did 25 years in the U.S. military. When I look at the state flag of Georgia, it looks like the flag that we defeated in the Civil War. So I'm like, how could the party of Lincoln vote to fly the Confederate flag? Like, is that a subliminal message? And it makes me wonder just how dedicated is the, as you call them, the ruling class in Georgia, how dedicated are they to true conservative principles? Are they really trying to expand the party? And if so, flying that flag is just it's just spitting in the face of the almost 3 million black people that live in Georgia.
Well, let me say this. You made a comment about Jaquan. I had a guy call me up. I don't know Jaquan. Or I had a guy call me up and he said, "Can you do me a favor and talk to this guy?" I said, "Sure." I give everybody a chance. He said he lives out in Greene County. I like him and I want you to meet him. So, okay. So I got his number. I texted him. I got to talking to him. We had a phone call. I said, "You want to come on the show?" Now, in transparency, because I have put this out, when I interviewed him, I knew the entire story. But I did not want that to be his introduction. I wanted this young man. I'm an older guy, so sometimes people say I'm not looking down at him at all. He's a young man to me. I got kids, and he's a fine guy. And I did not want to do that. When I met him on the phone, I knew the whole story. He told me the whole story. I said, "Look, but I want to do an interview. Let people meet you. Okay? Why are you a Republican? Why are you running?" And I think, not to quote you, but you said something like, "I didn't want to like this guy." I'm thinking, I don't want to like this guy. But once you watched that interview, you were thinking, Josh, you got a gift here. I mean, this is a young man. He's He's a black young man. We could really show diversity and growth in the party and the direction we're going. So not to go over it, but when you heard him right from Jaquan the other night out of his words explain what happened, what did you think about that in a little more detail? What was your concern there?
As far as him not being welcome to the party like he should have been?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't know the whole story about Josh tampering with his attempt to become a state party officer. So Jaquan was at that event that I was at a couple weeks ago that I seen Josh at. And I went up to Jaquan and I was like, Jaquan, and I didn't know about what had happened. And I was like, Jaquan, I need to tell you something and you have to understand this. And he was like, what? I was like, they don't want us. And he's like, what you mean? I was like, they don't want us over here. And he didn't say anything. Like, he didn't reveal to me what had already happened. And, we talked about other things for a minute. And before I walked off, I was like, remember what I told you? We are not welcome in this party. Because I was like, the only way we will be welcome is if we parrot their talking points. If you speak like a black man, they're not going to be able to relate to you. But if you use their talking points, they're going to love you and they're going to try to prop you up. And, I just shook his hand and I told him good luck. The kid never revealed to me what you knew. And once it went public, I just thought to myself, I was like, okay, that's why he was looking at me like that. It's almost like he wanted to tell me something, but he kept it to himself. Because I was like, why is he looking at me like that? Because I kept telling him they don't want us, man. They don't want us.
All right. So now wait a minute. Now this is where you and I got to have a talk. You ready? Now you and I are going to have a talk right now. Now what's all this they? Because I never treated you that way as first vice chair. I met with you, and we'll leave others out. Immediately when I became first vice chair, we talked about how to do outreach. So I want to come back to, and I want you to narrow it down, because I'm going to carry some people on my shoulder. It's not they, all right? Because we do have a core part of the Georgia Republican Party that want to get in position to win, and it's not a they. You with me?
When I say they, I mean like the ruling class, like not the people.
Okay.
Like that's why, like before we even got started, I was like, I don't want to just put everybody in the boat, because there have been some welcoming people in the party. And Brian, you were one of them. I'm not gonna lie. At first, I thought I didn't know what to think of you. I'm like, man, who's this guy up in the mountains, man? I didn't know what to think of you. But when I met you, when I got home, I told my wife, I was like, that guy up in the mountains I'll be listening to? She was like, yeah. And I was like, he's been around black people. And she's like, you think so? I was like, yeah, I can tell. I was like, I can tell a white person has been friends with black people. So I definitely wasn't putting you in that box. When I know
you weren't. I know you weren't, because what's upsetting to me is I know the people out there that really, really want to take, the party. You said something where, Donald Trump, you made reference to, and I listen to Josh go everywhere. And I listen to Josh go everywhere and talk about how he led the troops into battle and won this great war as the general of something. And, we won this election. And I'm thinking to myself, I got a message from a viewer this morning. The Georgia GOP did not win this election. Donald Trump won this election. The people voted for Donald Trump. So just like you said with your son, I mean, Donald Trump's going to win Georgia. He was going to win this time. There was no way around it. And now my concern, and let's go. I'll leave the door open. We're basically out of time. I'll leave the door open in case there was something else you wanted to talk about this morning. But going into 2026, now I know you want to be a part, and I know you want to reach the community, and I know you and I have talked about the values. It's not exactly that we see everything the same, but the general values. I've heard you talk about your sons, your family, going to church, So, we have shared values, and we have to win in 2026. What say you on what we're up against as a delegate? You've been involved in the party. You go to the meetings. You go to the conventions. You vote. What do we have to do in 2026 as far as candidates and turning things around? What's your opinion on that?
I personally think 26 is going to be a difficult year. My personal opinion, Governor Kemp, I don't see him going from governor to senator. Maybe I could be wrong. I think he has his eyes on being president of the next administration. So not only will we not have Trump at the top of the ticket, we're not even going to have Kemp at the top of the ticket. And I know a lot of people in my community, like it or not, that relate to Kemp. So we're not going to have a very, very strong person at the top of the ticket. Well, I'm not going to say strong. We're not going to have as much of a well-known person at the top. We're not going to have that big name recognition. So I feel like Coach McCoon is going to have his work cut out for him if he's able to win this next state election coming up. If Coach doesn't get into the minority communities, like I'm gonna give you a prime example. I do outreach.
But I'm gonna start calling him Coach. You got me messed up. I'm gonna start calling him Coach. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, but if he doesn't, like, not only did Jaquan drop into his lap, I do a lot of my outreach. My wife's family is from the west side of Atlanta. My wife's mother grew up in Allen Temple Apartments. So I thought that was the best place to start my outreach, where we do book bag drives, like pizza parties and stuff like that for the kids. That is Misha Maynard's district. Josh had the perfect opportunity with Misha Maynard to work the whole west side of Atlanta, from MLK, Simpson Road, Bankhead, all them areas. But at the end of the day, he didn't think, I can't say what he thought. At the end of the day, it didn't get done. And if that approach doesn't come,
you put it out there. I know I'm interrupting you, but you put it out there. Misha Maynard switched over to Republican. Okay. I couldn't get Josh McCoon to talk to me. I called you up and I said, what do you think? I asked you, I said, what do you think about this? And what do I got to do? And you basically laid out in about 5 minutes, about 10 minutes on the phone, a general plan. This Misha Maynard, you know the district, you're talking about it. She switched over to Republican. You gave me a general plan. This is what we need to do. I said, okay. And I'm just saying, folks, I never could get the chairman to discuss that plan or efforts to try to work in that community. Go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Just when you brought that up.
Right. It's just as frustrating to me. Like, he trotted her out in front of the national media as if, he really done something. And I was waiting for the substance behind it. Missed opportunity. The west side of Atlanta, missed opportunity. Southern Gwinnett, missed opportunity. DeKalb County, there's so many conservatives in these areas, but for whatever reason, we can't get the part. It's like, I got a friend named Angel Rosario. It's almost like we are baseball players. Like, he might bat lead off, I might come behind him, and we get on base, and we looking over to Josh, and we like, come on, be the cleanup hitter, bring everything home. But we're not getting any leadership from him. In fact, if you ask me, in 24, Josh was more like a manager. And people don't realize there's a difference between managing something and leading something. 2026, the Republican Party, we need real leadership. We don't need a manager. And we need leadership because Trump 47 is not coming to save the day. Like that ship has sailed. So I want to urge anybody that's listening to support David Cross. I personally endorse David Cross. He's in Gwinnett. I've been able to see him work. David is for the people. Like, we have things in Gwinnett that needed to be paid for, and we was trying to figure out how's it going to get done. And I've heard David say several times, look, don't worry about the money. We got the money to pay for it. Let's just get it done. And speaking of money, when Josh said that he wanted a different candidate over Jaquan because he needs somebody that can raise money, he just assumed that Jaquan doesn't know anybody, just like he plays me to the left. Me and Josh grew up in the same community, except on different sides of town. I was on the south side of Columbus, and I think he's from Smith Station. I don't even think he's from Columbus. He just comes across the river whenever it's convenient for him. But with that being said, my grandmother had a homeless shelter in Columbus. And by it being my grandmother, I would be able to sit in the office with her. And at a young age, I would see all these white men come in, because I was like, I wonder how she paid for that. Like, it was a big old school and they fed people 3 times a day. And I would wonder, like, I knew she wasn't a rich lady. And I'm like, how did she pay for this? Long story short, I used to sit in the office with her. And in 1989, I'm dating myself. In 1989, the homeless shelter was moving to a bigger facility. And I remember an older white gentleman walking in, and, you know, I knew this guy. Like, I would see him frequently. And he gave her a check. And when he left, my grandma was like, man, that man's a blessing. And I was like, who? And she's like, James. And that's all I knew him by was James. Well, long story short, the man's name is James Blanchard. They call him Jimmy down in Columbus. As I got older, I realized he is one of the richest men in Columbus. And I was like, no wonder he was able to come give my grandmother checks to keep the housing shelter open. That man is still alive, and I'm sure he is still donating to conservative causes. Me and Josh are both from Columbus. Me and Josh could sit down, figure out a way to put out a plan to James to be like, look, we're trying to spread conservatism on the south side of town, and we need financial help. Josh doesn't know who people know. He just looks at somebody and assumes, oh, I can't raise any money off of them. So I think that's
I do agree. That's a judgment call. You want to be careful on a judgment call like that. I mean, I do understand Jaquan's opponent is very wealthy, and I get that and has some connections, but I agree with you 100%. You know, Josh goes around and he talks about the 3 defendants that we had to come up with the money and raise money to cover the legal bills for the 3 defendants. You know, I tell this, I tell this to the camera every single day. So when I became first vice chair of the Georgia Republican Party, he talks about raising money, and he wants to give the impression, I know what you said about David, that like he's the only one that has the contacts, the relationships. So I don't know the rules. So I become first vice chair. I call over to Travis. I want an email address. I don't want it just so I can have it. I want an email address. So this went back and forth. And I told Josh, I said, Josh, look, I know some people around the country, we'll leave it at that if I took our letterhead, the Georgia Republican Party, wrote a very professional letter from me and a correspondence, and where they could come back to an email address for the Georgia GOP, I may be able to raise some money to defend these people. I think I left a couple $100,000 on the table, really, by not being able to go out, right? And he always said I would hurt the fundraiser. He knew that. And then I told him that I was going to try to help use that title that the delegates gave me, help raise money to defend Sean Still, Kathy Latham, and David Schaefer. You know what I was told? I have no official business with the Georgia GOP. That's what I was told. So, I mean, there you go. So I understand, like, when he says that about Jay, how does he know Jaquan won't go out and just knock doors? And
Right.
you know, how does he know that? All right, so I know. Go ahead.
It's hard to feel like you're not being looked down upon. And I'm going to be honest. It makes me feel better to know he looks down on other people too, like people like you. Because I was like, man, does this guy not like me because I'm black? Like, you know, I can't help but feel like that sometimes. But I was like, man, he looks down on Brian. He looks down on a lot of people. And to be a Christian man like he claims to be, I don't think you should be looking down on people like that. Like, we need to lift each other up regardless of what we've done, you know, and or what we haven't done. So,
well, I don't know. I don't know if I'll go with exactly looking down, because first of all, my friend, you're not easy to look down on. That's number one. But that being said, I don't know. Let me just tell you this, knowing him, you know, like when you said you met him with your dad and your dad said, hey, he's state senator. All right. At the time your dad knows he's a state senator and you don't. I've known Josh McCoon for 15 years. And so I can tell you, I don't know that I would equal it with looking down on as much as I would every single thing Josh does. He looks at the political calculation. He does a political calculation. It don't matter if you do not excel him politically, if that picture doesn't move him to the right, whatever, he doesn't do it. So, all right, so I appreciate hearing that. You've endorsed David for chair, and you gave your reasons why. Any other candidates before we go and I have you, or you just want to leave it there?
You know, we got a lot of talented people out. I'm looking forward to seeing some of the races. Like, I'm from Gwinnett. I know Alex O'Leary, whatever her last name is. You know what I'm trying to. Olenek. She's very capable. Sally Grubbs is capable. I don't know much about Lisa, so I'm interested in seeing that play out. You know, I'm gonna keep to myself which direction I'm gonna go, but we do have a lot of great candidates that's going to be at the convention in June, and I'm really looking forward to it.
I agree with you, and I appreciate your openness to say we have a lot of great candidates. I told people the other day, I know Lisa Pierce, I know Alice Olenek. I've talked to both of them. They're good people. I'm not going to jump that. I'm not going to jump over and give that to Sally Grubbs, but Lori McLean. Now I don't know the other guy. I don't know the other person in the race, Lori McLean. I don't really know. I know of. I met Amy Kramer years ago when she was running for office, and just through political things, I met Amy years ago. I've never face-to-face met Kylie Kramer. I've never met her face-to-face. I read her stuff on Twitter, and I've communicated that way. But to really know her, I don't really know her. I met Jaquan. And I met Jaquan. Caroline Jeffords, she's definitely a no to me. Secretary, I have to tell you, the lady from Gwinnett, Nixon.
Yeah, Cindy. Yeah, I call her Cindy. Yeah, I like her a lot.
Yeah, she's very capable. Very capable.
No doubt. Very, very. I forgot she was in the race, but yeah, I like her a lot. They have some. We got some talent. Like, you wouldn't know it from looking at the size of our GOP, but we got some talented individuals over here.
All right, so let's just put it like this. We're going to wrap it up. Coach McCoon's top player, Donald Trump, entered the transfer portal. Okay. He's in D.C. So, Coach McCoon, you know, you were 100% right on name politically. If Kemp's name is not at the top of that ticket, and I'm not endorsing Brian Kemp because I don't want to get in trouble, but in the political side, if his name is not at the top of that ticket, Republicans have a tough road ahead of them.
They do. And if you look at Warnock winning 2 years ago and Ossoff winning, The Democrats, they pretty ruthless, but even if their message isn't a good message, them people know how to message. I'll give them that, for real. And they're pretty effective at it.
Well, look, I appreciate the conversation. I know everybody out there appreciates it. We're running long. We'll have you back real soon, and I know I'll see you at an event. Go up and say hello to Derek. You never know whether it's a forum, a town hall, just a regular meeting, Cobb, Gwinnett, Conyers. It could be anywhere. Go up and say hello to Derek and tell him you watched him on the show. All right. You get 30 seconds if you want it. Did you forget to say something, or are we good?
Nah, let me take these 30 seconds. When I look at a leader, the three things I look for is, does he promote love? Does he promote unity? And most important, does he promote equality? Those are the three things I look for in a leader. And I think those are the three qualities that make somebody a good leader. That's all I wanted to get in.
We can leave on that. That's a great note to finish. You take care, my friend. You have a great day. We'll be together real soon. All right, folks, the Georgia Hour every day. Diane, what you doing there? Diane, you're just touching buttons everywhere today, aren't you? Just touching buttons everywhere. you started out at 8 a.m. Just touch the button.
I'm gonna blame the rain.
All right, so folks, the Georgia Hour every day at 10 a.m. We'll be back tomorrow morning. I just think that was a great conversation. We have a lot more going on in Georgia, draining the swamp, as we like to say. We'll be back tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Diane, take us out of here.